on, man.
That's his mom. So that's not good. Oh, yeah, I saw you yesterday.
Yeah, all right.
Chair? Oh, man. Sure. Matt, you want a chair?
No, it's good.
Yeah. West Perkins.
Okay.
Yeah. Campbell.
What's your first name?
Bill, how are you, sir?
My nickname, yeah. How you doing, buddy? Good. You live here?
I live in Lakeway.
Next way, okay.
I have a hangar here at the airport.
Oh, okay. ABH on.
Do I?
ABH on. Maybe 24 years.
Did you really? Where'd you fly?
A4s and all that.
That's good. Thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
That'll be fun. What kind of guilty calling the service?
Kind of feel guilty about it.
Calling the service.
You stand around late. You put in a lot of bureaucracy. That's hard to do.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. The more I see things on the outside, the more I win the ball. How long you been out of hangar? Long time?
6 years. Not long.
Ready for Renee's book here.
We've had a lot of turnover though.
Has everybody put their comment sheet that wants to make comments?
That's a sign-in sheet.
Sign-in sheet for comments.
Oh,
Anybody?
hey, I don't want to comment. You can take my name off the comment.
Well, no, this is sign-in. You don't want to talk? Sure?
I will. Thank you.
Matt, Bruce, anybody? Sign in to speak? Last chance. Going once, going twice. Okay. So you're
Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order at 7. I'm sorry, my watch hasn't switched. I was up in Indiana, so I'm still on Indiana time. 6:02 p.m. And roll call of the directors present. We have all 5 directors. Oh, I'm sorry, 4. Will you Patty in there until we deal with that? Good, thank you. I want to make sure, because I wasn't in the minutes, but we decided as a board last meeting that if the public wanted to make comments after each discussion items, that they would be allowed. Is everybody?
As we're before we make
talking
decisions,
about.
we enter perfect. That's what the House rule, the HR says you can do. So we should be doing it.
All right, everybody in agreement? So I'm going to ask if anybody that signed up as public today. I want to apologize for our previous annual board meeting, but as some of you stated, we were 3 new directors that should have never faced the agenda that was presented. My suggestion in the future would be that the annual board meeting only consists of officer election and setting a future board meeting so that new directors can have a chance to catch up to speed. We will do our best today to work through our agenda. We have distributed it as efficiently as possible, and who was making copies of the agenda? All those, Penny?
I got everything else to the agenda.
Oh, we didn't? All right. Sorry, guys. Miscommunication. I encourage all of you to pay attention to the details presented to you today. Take notes, ask questions, as I know many of you already do. Please stay with us till the end of the meeting. It is important to us that you hear everything that we're going to discuss. So the person, and as I call your name, if it's a general comment, then say so. Bill, were you a general comment?
Yes, I would. I'd like to say a general comment. You know, we have these meetings, and one of our chief people here, they never have showed up at any of our meetings, and that's Miss Dana over there. Now, what I would like the people here to be a little more friendly. So when you drive by Miss Dana's house, I want you to honk the horn at least twice, and if you see her, I want you to smile and wave.
How many fingers?
You better make it 2. But let's be a little more friendly to that lady, and maybe she'll come back to our meeting.
Okay, Wesley Perkins, was yours general? Or does it pertain to something on the agenda?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
My name's Wesley Perkins, and I own property at 136 Bonanza Circle, so I am a water company member. And I was approached recently by a couple of gentlemen who are interested in buying some land for a business opportunity that they have. And they're looking at multiple things, some not around here, but they were interested in the water company's land that is, there's about 6 acres of it that's west of the land that Dana Martin owns. So it's on Piper Lane, for people that aren't there. Anyway, it's inside the airport confines, and it's 6 acres. It's where the water company used to have their, I guess, a septic field, or I don't know if it was an aeration field, or however they did that, but that was abandoned many years ago, so the property just sat vacant. And so this individual would like to purchase that. And if the board is interested, then I'd like to introduce you to them. At this point, they want to remain anonymous because they're still trying to put together their business deal. So it's really just for you to consider, maybe put on an agenda. Their target time is very quick, and of course it's not asking the board to deviate from any of their normal standards. It would be certainly at a market price. They're not looking for just any price, and they know the value of all the lands, and they do own lands in this general area as well. So, but anyway, I'm just saying there's an opportunity to sell that land if the board wants to consider that.
Appreciate that, Wesley. We developed a real estate committee at the last board meeting. It's not on today's agenda, but we'll get it added on for the next one.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then so you don't know who might, if the board's interested, I wanted to know who to contact, who to talk to about.
Well, I'm on the real estate committee and more than happy to talk to you, but probably speaking quite off the agenda, but I'm more than happy to tell you that we've already gotten started on it. And the first thing is we have to ensure that that property has been remediated first, and that means getting the TCQ to make sure everything has been signed off. We don't have that paperwork right now, and we need to have that. We can't even entertain selling it until we have that. We have some outstanding violations that I put a call into TCQ to find out if those violations have been resolved on that property, where the, as I'm sure you guys know, where the grinder pumps are. So before we can even entertain that, we have to clear that lot and get all sign-offs and make sure we have them from TCQ.
I guess dealing with TCQ, you may not have an idea when that might be or how long it will take.
You're at, the mercy of the government to ensure that you've gotten all that paperwork. And so they are working on that right now to see if we have checked the boxes on taking down those ponds correctly.
So is the board interested in going further then? So you said you're already working on something to get to a sell point or not?
We have to make sure that
Sure.
property, you've got to disclose if there's any issues with TCQ. So I wouldn't recommend that this board move forward with selling property that the TCQ hasn't given a stamp of approval on.
No, but is there an interest to do that?
I can't say that right now. This is a board decision. I'm just the real estate committee looking into.
Okay.
As far as we know, the real estate committee was just started on that process. They have to meet and go through all that, so we can put your name on there for them to contact you and that.
That'd be great.
Wouldn't that be a buyer's problem anyways? That they would take that into account, that if there's some remediation that needs to be done, the buyer would end up assuming that as part of the title and it would be part of the purchase price? Typically?
I would think that the utility has to do their due diligence when they're listing a property to know what they're listing, to make sure when they're signing off that they know this, that they're not just going, yeah. So we have to take the proper steps as a utility to make sure our property has been taken off. It's a requirement when you take these lagoon ponds down that you have all the paperwork done. And we are doing our due diligence to make sure that is done.
Thank you. So you don't mind if I tell them, yeah, things look good now, but
I
it's a
can't speak.
condition.
This is a board vote. I'm
Yeah, sure.
just saying what's going on with the property.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Keith Hopkinson, are you?
Right here.
Okay.
I'm Keith Hopkinson. Some of you are familiar with my name, some of you may not be. And it's a general comment, but it actually relates back to what now sounds like was an attempted act by the board, and we seem to be backing away from it a little bit. When I watch Brian, I really like your videos because you get the full context. And I'm an attorney, by the way, for those that don't know it. Point being, the conflict policy for this water company is not very thorough. But in general, there are conflict policies that exist as a matter of law or best practices involving directors. And you should not have directors who have a conflict of interest.
Wow, thank you.
And so what I saw happen, I'm not doing lawyer speak with you. Patty has done a great job as the ratepayer representative for all of you, and she's doggedly pursuing it. Those actions are all still live. For all practical purposes, in courtroom speak, she's a plaintiff. She's a plaintiff against a defendant. The defendant is this company. You cannot be both plaintiff and defendant.
Okay, well, whoa.
Okay, hang
Jeff
on.
is on a plaintiff's form.
Hey, no.
Yes, he
no,
is.
I'm not talking
He's an
about,
enforcement.
ma'am, can I? Plaintiff and defendant is totally different than a complainant. Bottom line, you're setting yourself up for a huge conflict. Patty could be the best board member going, but it will set every decision this board makes as potentially challengeable if she's involved in it. Additionally, she's compromising herself as your representative for the ratepayer side. She has to pick one. She's been doing ratepayer for 4 years. There's nothing that says that when that's all final, all appeals are expired, go be on the board. But do not set yourselves up for, and can somebody donate me their 3 minutes, please? Thank you. Figured that was going to happen. You can't do it that way. You're setting yourself up for a vicious lawsuit. It is a blatant conflict of interest. And I know that everybody wants to support Patty. I do too. But you guys, you don't even know me. Don't shake your head. You don't. Good grief. My gosh. Look, I'm just trying to give all of you a heads up. You've been spending money. You've been bleeding cash. And now you're doing something. You've got like these two warring factions out here. You're setting the groundwork and making it easy for a huge challenge, not just on the fact that she's on the board right now as a plaintiff, but think about the fact that, let's say the ratepayer case goes out and it doesn't quite go ratepayer case way. Then there's going to be a decision about whether to appeal that or not, which means going into district court after the PUC. Well, if the ratepayer is going to be making a decision, well, do I go appeal this? But of course, there's a fiduciary duty here to not waste resources of the corporation. You guys are already teetering on the edge. So you cannot stand in both shoes. That's my only point. And right now, when the board, all of you voted to do this, and I think you didn't realize it's a breach of fiduciary duty for each of you to the corporation. Your duty runs, in this context, you have duties that run to the corporation, and then you have duties that run to the members through the corporation. What has happened here is you have set yourself up for a huge conflict. I would highly suggest you rethink that course of action. Don't put yourself in the position of being that vulnerable. She can still be, rate paying advisor, throwing things out to the board to make informed business decisions on. But to do it right now, you are setting yourselves up for a really bad conflict. And I really think the board needs to consider that fiduciary duty issue.
Time.
Anybody else? I'm here to answer questions too. So if somebody wants to give me 3 more minutes.
I have a question. Who asked you here today?
I pay standby fees, so you get $300 of my money every year.
Well, I know, but we haven't seen you.
Nobody asked me here. I came of my own volition. I've been watching the videos. I was very interested to see what direction. I have intentionally chosen not to get water here because I don't want to buy a seat on the Titanic.
You're not a member.
But I would like to get water at some point, but it needs to be stable. And I was really hopeful that with kind of the overturn, there would be some progress. And I think you guys are doing a good job. But
I would like to add, first of all, I want to ask you, since you seem to know all the
Does anyone
legalities.
donate time?
Yes.
I will.
Thank you.
thank you.
Since you're allocating Patty being a plaintiff, what about Jeff, who's a plaintiff?
He's
He's a plaintiff.
That has everything to do with it, Mr.
It's a
Hopkinson.
complaint.
By the way, Mr.
It's an
Hopkinson is
important-
Jeff
This
Walker's
is
best friend.
actually.
Let's get that out
This
there.
is actually.
Does everybody
no
know
idea
he's
this
Jeff's
Best friend.
attorney?
No, I'm
Yeah.
not his best friend. We're
Yeah.
friends. We're neighbors. What the hell is your point? I'm trying to help all of you. I can get on my motorcycle and ride out of here, but when it happens, you're going to be sitting there going, okay, great.
Well, then we should probably
think about
take
it
Jeff
objectively.
and Patty off the board.
That's
I'm
right.
good with that.
Jeff literally worked the other PUC case all by himself. And it was him. He was the man. Patty, have you taken a vote on the PUC, on anything to do with PUC?
Well, I mean, since you guys are talking, I was gonna wait for my 3 minutes, but since it's kind of out of order, please let me address what you have
Sure.
to say. The PUC has already ruled on it. There has been a ratepayer representative that sat on Bear Creek Stud up in Dallas who decided to challenge the rates. Matter of fact, she was president of the utility, and she was a ratepayer. PUC Commission had this very same issue before them, and they ruled on it. And they said as long as she doesn't vote on any of the issues and she recuses herself, she is A-OK. I am more than happy to get you that commission opinion.
Patty,
So,
do you have a final decision in this rate case that you're talking about? No. And when you look at the agenda,
you have an agenda right here, sir.
Yes.
I know.
You have an agenda.
Absolutely.
When you look at the agenda, much of the agenda is stuff that costs we wanted to see, and I'm still hopeful that there's going to be positive change. But I came here to tell all of you, I think you're going to step
Way
into
too
it.
much time.
Yeah, let's
Supposed to
move
be a
on.
3-minute
Let's move on.
comment.
His time is up.
Yes,
Let's
that's
move
right.
on.
Time is up. I don't know what this other name is. A D. Neeser? Am I saying,
Bobby D.
I'm sorry?
That's Bobby D.
Bobby D?
The only thing I did was sign in that was here.
So you don't want to speak, Bobby D? You don't want to speak? You don't want to speak?
Bobby
Okay.
D.
I can't follow.
Danny?
All I wanted to say was, y'all had promised that you were gonna go back to the public speaking the way it was in the past, and I wanted to hold y'all to that.
Which we already covered that.
Yes.
Thank you, Danny. Robert? Is it general comment or we're ready to the menu or the agenda? Sorry.
Josie, hold on.
Oh, Joe. I got.
I'm
that
right
says
here,
Robert.
representative.
Well, I've heard the name, I've never met him.
Yep.
That's why I'm like, how do you know me?
Valentine Deal.
That's me. That's still me. I'm still here.
Jimmy hasn't left the room yet.
I'm going to sign in twice, so everybody knows I was here.
Bobby, we know you're here. Tallest man in the room.
Okay.
Sheesh. Okay, Jay, I know who you are. Jay was here.
Yeah, just a general comment about attendance. How are notifications? I still receive no notifications. The only reason I knew about this is on Nextdoor. How are notifications sent out?
They're
So
sent
we
out,
can get more participation.
yeah, they're sent out through the water board. So did you call the 800 number with the water board and have Lori update your email address? That's what
I don't
needs to
know.
happen.
We're a member, and we have been for 2 years, but I just don't know
Well, that's,
if others are not receiving any notifications, that's all. Do you receive them?
We did not receive it.
Yeah, I mean, so if raise of hands is who
And
didn't
they have
receive
our,
the
they have our.
Get like one right after the other. So here. How do we publish something like that? Get everybody updated email address.
Yeah, but that's just here, we're talking about around,
yeah, but we
you know, all
have other people that are not here because they don't know. Yeah.
Well, it's no, I didn't. Did you get an email? I always did not.
Yeah,
we always
I'll allow it. I have to give the last one. Go ahead. Oh, you want, oh, that's right. We'll have Patty next.
on our next one. Maybe we can send out updated, let's fill this out, and make sure we got, I mean, it's a piece of paper. But it sounds like we got a lot of pictures. But I think that's a good idea.
Well, my one.
Or maybe we can have a blurb on the website to say, hey.
You can get it from all directions.
Yeah, that's what I mean, call the 800 number and update and so on and so forth.
Next up is Patty, general comment. Can we have order, please? Starting? I'm sorry. Patty's up.
My 3 minutes. I want to address what happened at the last board meeting. Renee had made a comment of extending to the ratepayers funds to pay for their ratepayer expenses through the water company. And unequivocally, we are not taking a penny from them, from the corporation or from the members. We never asked for it. We don't want it. Those aren't our, that was handed out. That's not our ratepayer cost. And I don't ever want to hear this subject ever again. It's dead on arrival, not to be brought up again.
And if anybody needs to see documentation on that, I went to the attorney that was mentioned, and they sent us a letter basically saying there was no money due to that firm by the ratepayers, which is from Griffin and Davis. Josie?
Well, my name is Josie, if you don't all know me. I am also a ratepayer. I left the meeting early, so I didn't get wind of what was going on until now. Patty is correct. We are not taking a dime. Never have and will. Actually, we stood up here to do the right thing by this community. Whether you all know it or not, we haven't asked for anything. We tried to make the rates go down. But at this point, you guys are on your own. Because we've done everything we can possibly do to make this Jeff files an enforcement, if he doesn't follow that enforcement, then what comes back on you is all of this board's issue and yours.
Whoa, what do you mean? I have to file? I don't have to
You
file.
filed an enforcement.
That's for the compliance filing, yes.
Compliance, if you don't follow the compliance, Jeff, you're gonna have something.
It's not on me. It's
It
not.
is on you.
It's on the corporation, sorry. Josie.
Oh, okay, let's throw it on the corporation.
Well, it is.
Whatever you wanna do, and maybe, just maybe, y'all will get Joe Gemini back on the board.
No, hang on a second.
I'm done. I'm done.
Time
Thank you.
out. I just want to
You're
clarify.
done. You are
What she's
done.
talking about is the compliance filing, the order for there were some changes to the compliance filing that we've been working on the 5 pillars. We have a compliance committee, by the way, that will work on all those items that they will require us as a community, as Windermere Water Supply Corporation, to adhere to. It's not just about me, it's about the corporation.
Well, you're the one who filed, is what I'm trying to say.
I filed it as an election thing, and then it grew into bigger things that once the PUC found things, but it's not on me to make sure we file. We're going to do it as a team within the compliance committee.
By all means, take.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Yeah. But it's about the board. Like, you don't want me to write your bylaws, do you?
I want
Because if that's what you're saying, because one of the pillars is to rewrite the bylaws. You guys want me to rewrite the bylaws? I don't think you did.
Jeff, you do what you want to. I
I
really don't
can't.
care anymore.
No, I know, but I'm
I
saying
don't care.
that it's a community effort. That's all I wanted to make sure. It's
Nothing,
not on
this
me.
is all about the board,
Right.
and you just take it and go,
Yeah, well, I don't.
because you'll be responsible.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so number 4 on the agenda is consideration, discussion, and appropriate action pertaining to appointing Patty Clunker to the vacancy of a board position, Article 8, Director, Item 9, vacancies of the WOWC bylaws vacancy, which was left by Richard Schaefer as of February the 21st. So if anybody, I do have her application. Motions?
Sure, I'll make a motion, we put Patty.
I mean, what's the violation? I'm just wondering what the violation was. Well, why are we talking about this? We had a vote at the last meeting.
Because it wasn't legitimate, because it wasn't noted that we were filling it according to Article 8, Item 9.
I have it. I'm trying to understand where that is in Article 8, Article 9. What's that?
Where it says vacancies,
I'm on vacancy. Number 9, vacancies.
right? It wasn't on the agenda, was the bottom line. So we're trying to cover the bases because we have Joe flat out sent an email in relationship to that. That we did not do it
Which
legit.
is with the AG, don't forget to say that.
Yeah, we didn't, so the other board members didn't get a copy of that.
Copy of-
Joe's email. What did Joe send?
It was just basically stating we needed to correct it on this particular agenda to state that yes, we had elected her as an officer, not as an officer, as a director on the board.
Okay, Joe Gemini sent an email?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just curious. I like to get on.
He kind of nicely did it as an FYI, but again, we did not have it. It was not pointed when you had the vacancy on the agenda. It did not reference that particular item.
I was in it, but not on the agenda.
That's right. So we've got a motion, we have a second, and then we're having discussion. Jeff, do you have anything to say?
No, I just wanted to understand where it all came from.
Yes. I'll make the second motion to allow Patty to be a director on the board. Any more discussion?
No?
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, you know, on the board.
Aye. No, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry. Thought you were-
Wakey. I keep my papers going on here. All right, so now we're waiting for, we have our, sorry. Running off thing. We have our guest today, presentation by AWR, Tammy, I'm going to ask Haggard? It's Hargett. Hargett, okay. And how?
I'm so out of it, I'll turn it over to Tammy.
And just to let everybody know, hey, just for everybody to know, these are the service providers. This is the gentleman who founded AWR. They're the ones that have been providing service to us since middle of September. Yeah.
group that were in here, and so we stepped in on an emergency basis to begin operating the district. We also, Tammy and I are the people who would provide, who provide management and coordination with boards. We have a lot of communication, email back and forth between board members, and you know, we think we're very transparent in what we do, honest, hardworking, and so forth. At least Tammy is. So, you know, the only thing we've really seen in the facilities themselves, meaning the water plant, the wastewater plant, the associated distribution system, and so forth, is some of the equipment's relatively old. It's functional, but it's relatively old. It's somewhat difficult to operate, especially within the tight TCQ parameters that you have on your permits. So one of the things that we talked with Jeff and Renee about initially was that we need to have an engineering study done on the plant, determine what's outdated, you know, what's past its service life, what needs to be immediately replaced, what can be done over the next 3 to 5 years and so forth. And also, what's your facilities are going to look like once you have built out for the whole subdivision in here. So we put together a proposal. We'll be talking with the board about that. They haven't seen all the details of that. But I think that's probably the most important thing that needs to be done right now to get your system where it needs to be. You know, we need to get that done so that we can look at all those little details. We have some turbidity issues that just these particular matters that are within the system over here. You have some old metering equipment. There are all these TCQ requirements. You know, so there's some relatively minor things that need to be done, not very expensive to fix. A few things that are relatively expensive to fix, such as clarifying the system. So we've had enough time now to look at the system and get a pretty good feel for it. I have to say to you, you know, the quality of your water that's being produced is good. The treatment on the wastewater system is good. It's well within permit. So I don't think you have to worry about the system being, at least today, you know, falling apart or having issues. But we need to look at this over the next time period relatively soon to get a few things done. And there's some other things we can do away with. I think that's all. I'm going to let Tammy talk about some of the detail of our services. Tammy's the CEO of our company.
Well, can I ask you a couple of questions? Now, I was told that we needed a clarifier, that we needed an updated clarifier. Is that the case?
It is. So what that clarifier does for you is to remove the particulate matter, talking about organic matter, you know, dirt, sand, everything else that comes in from the lake. And so it takes that matter out. We use a flocculant in there called alum. It takes that out. So the water coming into the plant is already somewhat treated before it gets there. There's currently a series of old tanks that are being used, and they do reduce that somewhat, but not what it should be done. So all of our other facilities have clarifier systems in there to take that out.
My understanding, and the reason why I'm asking that and trying to address it, is because our prior board told us that they had actually put in a new clarifier. So whatever the amount was for that, I would like to have the board look into it, because that was one of the things that they actually went out and got a loan on. And, you know, so I'm trying to understand with regards to having equipment that we paid for apparently, okay, whether or not that's needing to be replaced.
Hey, excuse me, Josie, do you know when that was?
Yeah, it was in 2000, when we filed was 20, so it was in 2020.
2019, okay. 2019, 2020 maybe?
I would say.
I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
probably
before my time.
19.
20, okay, well, we'll check 2018, 19, and 20.
So we're the new kids on the block.
No, I know you are.
And all
Don't
I
get
can
me
say
wrong.
is
I'm just
it's
trying
not
to
there
get
right
some-
now, that's for sure.
That's all I want to know.
Yeah. Now, one of the things, Josie, I know last fall, there was a motion that was passed by to sandblast the tank and possibly turn it into a clarifier. But that was something that Renee and I voted against, and that's still on hold. That project has stopped, or it's on hold. So we haven't done anything with that on several recommendations.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get
Yeah.
some clarity
I don't know if
here.
anybody heard that about clarifier, that he was going to think about changing that old tank into a clarifier. So, yeah.
I'm sure it's in the minutes.
Yeah, it's totally in the minutes. There was a vote on it, but nothing inside that tank is being done. We paid some money to the sandblast guy to get ready, but that's it. But other than that, no additional funds spent.
Well, just so you know, we're available to you 24 hours a day, 365 a year. Our people will respond anytime, holidays or any other time. So I mean, we've done that when the freeze happened out here, all sorts of leaks that we performed and so forth. So we're here to help you if we can ever do that. You have our information. When you call the emergency number, it will come to our office and we'll get that. During the day?
So during the day, it'll go to our office, and during the night, it goes to our dispatch.
Yeah, 24-hour dispatch. So we're here for you to help you and keep your water flowing and wastewater treatment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What's the plan if the crib and the channel can no longer reach water? If we have a dry summer and 110s and the water goes away, what do we do then?
Amy's going to talk a little bit about the action that comes
That's the buck.
Get the CEO.
Yeah.
But there is an issue with the amount of water in the lake and the depth of the lake and where your intake structure is. You're not the only people in that situation. But there's a chance that LCR is going to go to no more water at some point in time. It's like, and Tammy doesn't offer people. Yes, sir.
How much water's in the tank right now, roughly?
20 feet I asked today.
20 feet? How tall is the tank? How many gallons?
22.
No, you're talking about the tank?
The tank, he said the tank.
Yeah.
You asked for the ground storage tank?
How many gallons?
It's 20 feet today, and it can go up to 22 feet.
So it's full.
It's full, and according to our operator, it's about 3 days supply.
Thank you.
Oh, she has another question.
I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say we did get a new clarifier in 2020. How long does it clarify? What's the life cycle of a clarifier? How long does it last?
Yeah, so these are steel tanks, and they typically, if they're painted with, they're sandblasted, painted with epoxy paint and so forth, they're about 15, 18 years before you have to go in and sandblast it again and repaint them. So you want to do that before the coating disappears off that tank, starts rusting. You do that within about a 15, 18-year time
No, I'm
frame.
talking about the clarifier that filters the water.
That's right. It'll last about
That's
15 to 18 years before it's repainted.
Uh-huh.
And once you sandblast and repaint it, it's good for another.
Okay, so it should last 15 years or so.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I was just going to talk about the operations side of it. So just to kind of give you just a quick background on AWR. So we do, as he mentioned earlier, we are water sewer operations, but we also do 24/7 repairs. We also do communication, and we also can do billing. And we do billing for a lot of our clients. We have a number of clients that are water supply corporations, just as yourself. We do MUDs, we do WCIDs, and we even have some cities. Our licensed operators, we have a combination of groundwater licensed operators and surface water. And what that does is that allows us to have a variety of water operations. Groundwater is people that are using the wells. So we have districts and water supply corporations that live off the well water. So our groundwater operators manage that. And then our surface water are for companies or clients such as yourself where you're drawing water from the lake, the surface water. We also have several clients that do purchase. They purchase treated water. They don't have the water facilities, so they actually purchase treated water. And then from a wastewater standpoint, we also have a variety of clients and experience in wastewater. So when you take the wastewater and you treat it, that effluent, depending on how that district or that corporation's permit with TCEQ is, we can drip field. So we take in that wastewater, we treat it. It has to be a certain rate for the TCEQ permit, and then we push it back out onto the land to get drip fields. Or we can do spray irrigation, which is what Windermere does. We also have one client that we have TCEQ permits to actually discharge back into the Colorado River. And then we also have experience doing golf course irrigation. So a lot of times when we go to golf courses and you see these beautiful lawns and stuff, that's all effluent treated water. Usually you'll see a pond with some irrigation. You might need to know or want to know. For example, whose responsibility The grinder pump is responsibility of the homeowner. They have to call a licensed plumber to take care of that. If it's on the main water line or main sewer line, then that's us. So just things, ideas for the future to help with communications. And do you want me to go in real quick on the drought?
Yeah, well, one last thing, just talk about how many people are back in the back office. Yeah, at your offices up in DC.
Okay, so our office, there's 5 of us in the office. So we're a small family-owned company. But we take our pride on that because we are personal. So 24/7, you're gonna get a phone call. Like if you call, you're gonna get someone to answer. If it's after our hours, we have a dispatch service that will take the call. If it's urgent, they will take your information and they will dispatch it to our operator and our repair tech that's on call for that day. If it's during the day, our folks answer that phone. In fact, if it rings more than twice, everyone freaks out. I mean, even our accountant will pick up if the phone is ringing, you know, and even if she says, let me put you on hold for Trish, that's fine, but at least she's answering. Whereas a lot of these other companies, it'll be like, press 1 for this, press 2 for this, press 3 for this, and then if it's not urgent, we'll get back to you in 3 days. But that's not how we operate, and so we take good pride with that.
So, if there's a leak or whatever, how long does it take for the crew to get here? Is it, you said, 620?
Oh, this 360 is our main office. That's just where we do the billing, and we take all the customer calls, and we do accounting, the invoicing, and that stuff. We actually have operators and repair tech spread out all around Austin. So our clients are everywhere from Bastrop out to Lago Vista, up to Marble Falls, Spicewood, in the center of Austin. So we've got people all over the place. And so what we try to do is we try to have operators and repair techs that are, especially operators that are dedicated to their district, if you will, their facilities close by. But the repair tech that's on call, he dispatches and goes if it's an emergency. If he can't get there in time and it's a really big emergency, the operator that's closer, whoever's closer will go.
So I have a question. So the guys or the operator, are they here during the week, like 8 to 5? Or are they here for the first 2 hours? What does that look like?
So that's a really good question. Because of the size of this supply corporation, you are a 7-day ops. So 7 days a week, an operator is out here doing standard operations both at the water plant and at the wastewater plant. Some days it may take X amount of hours, and some days if there's humidity is an issue, whenever LCRA lists that dam, it's all hands on deck. We might be here all day, right? Like into the night. So that causes problems with the turbidity because we don't have that clarifier. And so there's issues with that. So it rains. But they are here 7 days a week, even on holidays.
So at this point, for the people here that say they don't get emails about the meetings, who should they contact to get on the email list?
Is this the?
Is it still the board?
I can just tell you, for me being new, I went to your website and it says sign up for alerts. I clicked on there, I put my information, and now I get your alerts. I got the notice that the meeting was today, and that's what I did. But to your point, and what you all just talked about, I think putting that information, including it with your next statement that Lori sends out,
Right.
says, hey, do we have your contact?
Right.
Is it up to date? Fill this out, send it in, and we'll get you updated. Or go straight to the website, click here, and you can be in instantly. That's what I did.
Which website is that?
So,
The POA website?
No, it's a
Windermere
org.
So do you also serve as an advisor if they have special projects, like the contractors came in with Spectrum and took quite a bit of water? Don't know if the water lines can handle that much water being taken out and stuff like that. Do you make recommendations on, well, maybe they shouldn't do this, or maybe they can do this, or they have to do it in a certain manner? Does the board have to come with you that first, of course, and let you know what's going on? And what is your response to it if you
I guess you're learning the system and what it can take and what its capacities and the degradation of the lines over the years.
So Spectrum, the whole Spectrum, I heard about that, because obviously that was before we were really on board. So I heard about all of that, I heard about the water and all of that stuff. But going forward, if Spectrum were to come in and this is what they want to do, we would take that information, we would communicate to the board, right? And this would be, so that's the other thing is, we work for you all, we work for the board. And unless it's an emergency or something that's got to get done, we're taking everything to the board.
So do you account for water losses then? Like, can you see something that would drastically implicate a breakage is what I'm getting at? Because I had a break behind my house, and if I wouldn't have been walking, I wouldn't have noticed. And a lot of people, I don't think, realize that our infrastructure is so old that it's consistently breaking in certain areas. Do you have do you water, or do you actually log water losses or anything of that nature?
So I know that Lori does a report for the RDS billing system and she provides water loss. But to your point, so everybody out here is on a mechanical meter,
Right.
not an electronic meter. With electronic meters, you, the homeowner, can set up it in your app and you can see your water use by hour. Anytime you want, 24/7, right? And then the billing office can download that information when it's time to bill. And you don't have to go out and meter read. So that's one thing. The second thing is to your point, I mean, in this particular supply corporation, you have some water lines running between backyards.
Yes.
And so it's not like our staff is going through people's backyards and stuff, right? So we'll never see that.
Or green spots.
Right. Exactly. We'll never see that. And I when I drove out here and did the tour and stuff, I noticed some of them were actually marked with the white poles going down, so you could pull up and look all the way down there and go, okay, the water line's running that way between the two backyards. But when I look over here, there was no white poles. And you're like, I know it's up there somewhere, but I'm not sure where. So unfortunately, we really don't see it
Kind of
unless
a
someone has eyes on it.
it's a mishmash of our meters in the community. You'll have someone whose meter is right next to their window, their kitchen window, their home, and then you have some that have the meters out by the street in the easement. It's just a case by case, which if there's some.
One of the things that, if you remember back in the summertime, which we have approval for, we're just waiting for them to finalize it, is an operational audit, which they're going to go in and tell us how everything's working. None of the plan has been documented, by the way. I mean, if these guys weren't here, we wouldn't know what button to push and how to do it. We walked in there, Renee and I walked in there in August, and we're like, gotta be kidding me. None of it was documented. One of the things we've asked them for is a proposal on an operational audit that will give us one, I think it's 1, 3, and 5 year. Yeah, long term, which would be, hey, one of the things you guys should implement would be smart meters. And here's the benefit of that, which would be to answer Josie's question, hey, am I having a water leak at my house? That would tell you, are you spinning, is your meter spinning? But that's part of this operation audit that we've asked them to kind of put together and come back with a plan so that we can present it to you guys. Because there is going to take some expenditure on it, so.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, let's get to the drought real quick, so I don't delay anymore. So because of the drought that we're in, so just so you know, we are starting the combined storage levels between Lake Cannon, I wouldn't say Cannon, and Lake Travis are 834,000 acre feet, which is 43% full. LCRA's board meeting just last month, the board approved that said when the lake levels, when the combined storage lake levels drop below 900,000 acre feet, or 45% full, we're going to mandate a once-a-week watering. And that goes for all the firm water customers, which is what you all are, and all the customers that have straws in the lake, if you will, for their irrigation. Everyone's got to go to one. And so because we are already below that 900,000 acre feet, and we're at 42% full, we are all going live May 1st, 1 day a week. In addition to that, at the March meeting, they are proposing a change to their drought they've always looked at just water levels. They've never taken into consideration the inflows, right? Last year, the year before, our water levels were lower. But our inflows were some of the worst on record. So now this new level is gonna say, if the water levels are at this, and or the inflow is only 33%, we're going. And so, in addition to that, we're talking about after it gets to 600,000 acre feet, it's gonna be no water. There's a $10,000 fine to corporations, water supply, all the districts that don't send this out to the customers and say, if they don't update their drought contingency plan, if they don't communicate that it's gotta go to 1 day, it's a $10,000 a day fine.
What percent full is 600,000 acre feet?
Okay, so I knew someone was gonna ask me, but 1 acre feet is equal to 325,851 gallons. So if you take that times the 849,259 acres, that'll tell you, I think I did it the other day, it was like 2 billion gallons.
It's actually a foot of.
But what percentage? What percentage full is that? If we're
So
at 43,
we're
42.
currently only at 42%.
42, so what level would be the water?
I just know it's 600 acre feet.
Wherever a straw is.
I know Lake Travis is only at 39%.
I would like to ask, I'd like to ask about, you're talking about levels, and I get that, because at some point, that lake, if we don't get rains, we're gonna have to truck water in. So what are we looking at from that standpoint, given last year?
It's funny that you say that, because Jeff's already talked to me about that, and so it's like, well, there's a lot of water haulers that are approved by TCEQ, and they have their hauling license, right? But if they're just getting the water from Lake Travis, what's that gonna do us? So where are they gonna go to get this? Are they gonna go over to Aqua, who's out in the Bastrop area, and getting it from their aquifers? And then you're trucking, and the average, we've been doing some research on this, the average truck is between 2,000 gallons and 5,000 gallons. You're lucky if you can get like a milk truck that's 7,500 gallons. Do you know how many truckloads that's gonna be a day to keep people going? Right?
We had them last year, that's why I'm asking. And they were 18-wheelers coming in here. I don't know if anybody saw it, but I did, because they were going by my house. So what are we talking about as price is concerned?
So I haven't gotten to the pricing yet. We're just starting to talk about what are we gonna do if this happens. Trying to get prepared.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Josie, that goes back to Bruce's comment about how much water are we storing right there now. We had 3 days, 20 feet. I think it's 108,000 gallon tank. It's around 100,000. I thought that's what I.
Yeah. So well, we can push out 100 GPM, 100 gallons per minute. But in your summer peaks, you run around 55 to 68 gallons per minute. And so that's why a 22-foot tank would be about 3 days.
Has there been any kind of discussion at LCRA about putting a moratorium on new water permits?
Everyone's going back to, so they always, every time they're about to make a change, they ask for comments. Hal and myself, we're all going back and going, what are you doing about this? What are you doing? Because a lot of the firm water customers have a take or pay contract with LCRA. It says if you don't, let's just say you're allowed to use this many gallons in a year, and you only use this many. Well, at the end of the year, you got to cut them a check for the difference, right? Well, now if LCRA says you can only use this much because it's a 1 day or a no day a week, right? Are you going to force these customers to pay that big check at the end of the year?
Well, that's what we have.
That's the feedback we're giving back to them is then you need to alter that because that's not right. I mean, great, it's good that you're doing the water restrictions, but then you need to alleviate that end of the year check.
Do you know how much our permit, how much we can take out of the lake? What are we at?
59.
I've not seen your contract yet.
Acre feet.
What is it?
59.
59 acre feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys know what we're coming in on with that?
When that guy did that presentation, video presentation, a year and a half ago, this last year it was like around 50, but the years before that, we exceeded it like 2 or 3 years in a row.
Which we can, yeah.
Well, with these new restrictions, that, we're gonna have to like, cut that down greatly.
When we did this study, we'll address that, whether or not, we'll take a look at your peak consumption and whether or not you have adequate per-mark customer contract or not. If not, we can go back to LCRA and add additional water to that.
It's 50% of what your rate is that you don't use, or it doubles going over.
Yeah, we need to look at that, make sure that your per-mark customer contract matches up with your maximum capacity on record, wherever that is.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the LCRA contract yet.
I know I'm gonna get off track here, but Lake Wade, do they pump out of the lake? So it is so funny when you go, it's not funny actually. They're watering the grass and it's running down the street and there's a sign there that says, every drop counts.
That's great water.
Come on.
So that
Are
would
you
be a
sure?
question,
Yeah.
so
Great
in
water.
some places, in a lot of places,
On Green Hills you're talking about?
they use effluent treated water to irrigate, like, as you're walking in and coming in and the landscaping and stuff. We have another one right down the street at the Spicewood area, and as you enter the community, it's all green, but it's all effluent treated water.
I know they were getting the sprinklers already going today, it's like, guys out there looking at every one of them, it's like, come on, guys.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. We don't want to take your whole meeting.
Yeah, I don't want to.
AWR, but
Hey, Tom.
Thank you.
we're excited to work with you and
I just got a question. You guys will, as best as you can, be here on at our board meeting as best as you can, or provide us the reports that you guys produce every month, correct?
We will always provide you a report,
Right.
and we will be here as best as
As best you can, I know that. So they're available to us, it's just, it's on their schedule and such as that, so.
But we will always provide you a report.
Yes, you got the monthly reports coming through. Yeah.
It would help if you have an established, consistent day.
We've got things established.
If
Yeah,
you've got that,
we do.
then we can make sure that we're getting our report on time.
Yeah, that you could also
And it gets
report.
into your
Yeah, that was my next thing. Right.
We can send it in on time with the dates.
Yeah.
Madam President, if I could just ask, I know a little item or two down to our contract or something.
Yep.
We provided you with that contract. We're currently operating without a contract, which makes us a little uncomfortable. Not that you have it paid bill, certainly. But a little concerned about insurance coverage and so forth. Our request to you is, let's get this contract approved so that we have insurance in place and we have full operating capability. We'll be happy to sit down with you as a board or as a committee and look at that contract in great detail. There's some things we need to change, certainly we need that contract and we'll look to do that. But we just need to get that contract in place if we can.
I make a motion that we sign the contract and get it going.
I'd second that motion, and the idea is that it's
Gotta make it
item number
agenda
9 on the agenda. However, Robert's rules say that we can adjust that in our agreement.
You can put that on the schedule.
Yep.
Did you make a motion?
I did.
I second.
No, I made the motion, Renee seconded.
We've got 2 different motions.
Oh,
One of them
sorry,
is
that's
adjusting
right.
item 9 to put it as number 5.
Got it. I'm sorry, Renee.
What do we have? We have it as number
9, got number 5.
It's going 9 to 5.
Second. More discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
So it's not the contract.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion. to sign the contract.
Under outstanding invoices?
No, I think we're pretty much
It's not
up to
that.
speed. We got one resolved today. So, yeah.
Have you all-
Yeah, I'll do that. I make a motion that it's on the table. I make a motion that we sign the contract, maybe second it.
I'll second the motion that we use this one. And as we learn together in our relationships, if we have to make adjustments, we make adjustments.
Any more discussion?
speaking with us.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having us.
It's very nice taking everyone.
Is there any discussion from the members regarding the contract?
Hey, Cal, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. No? Okay.
Yeah.
Aye.
Make a motion.
Aye.
Oh, to execute it?
Yes, execute the
Okay.
contract.
Wait, is that the one you signed? Yeah, that's the one you signed. Yeah.
And then you have it to Joe.
Yeah.
Out of your life, boys.
You want me to sign?
Yes, please.
Okay.
We will have a contract.
We just stepped into a bit of an emergency and got things going, and now we're pretty comfortable. And again, we'll be back.
Yeah.
Since we've,
That means I'll give you a copy.
oh, I see.
Hey, Al.
I got it tonight.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you very much.
I'll hear that in her car if I get it. At the end of the day, you've got an absolutely gorgeous community. And those of us who live in the concrete world wish we could be out here.
I know,
It's gorgeous.
I live in Lego land. Thank you.
Thank you.
Seriously.
It's nice to meet you.
Okay, to me,
We probably should.
yeah.
How could you send us back?
No, I'm gonna have an initial one, we'll have an original.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right.
Neither one of them said that I would, but I do.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay, y'all know who really.
Yeah, we actually see her in the office.
Okay, since we moved number 9 of the 6, the other 9A was ratification of payments and invoices. So I wanted to put that on the agenda so that we could ratify the cashier's check that Judy had to, we were getting ready to lose our service. Like what you just said, they've been operating without a contract, just so everybody knows. We found this out on, what date was February the 28th. So Judy was kind enough to go to the bank, get a cashier's check cut. That cashier's check was for $37,964.99. And I didn't ask the dates. What range of time did that go back to, Judy? Do you remember?
Is that your service?
That's what I'm trying to have her check. I didn't ask that when I asked them today.
And then at the beginning.
It was for several, I know it was for several things that George did not pay for when George exited. So they picked up the payment, so we didn't lose any of our service.
Do we know if our check cut to George did not include that? So if we were paying George to pay invoices, do we know, how do we know that?
At this point, we do not, but we do need to go deep in there because there were 2 payments, as you know, that cleared to George, done in the same month. And his spreadsheet records were atrocious on that. So we do need to go into deep analysis.
I was under the assumption that they were hired by him and he was cutting them a check.
That's exactly
That's what we thought.
how it was up through the 13th or the 14th of January, Patty. One thing I would recommend to the board in billing is there has to be a lien release or some type of release that we get from these subcontractors that eliminates any liability of us where one of their people that they don't pay, they can't come back after the corporation. And we have to figure out some type of documentation to that effect. And they should be, even people like AWR, when we write a check, they should sign a lien release. They've been paid for this invoice, but they can't, lien any of our property. They should do that on every check that we send out. That's a common thing when we're dealing with contractors and subcontractors that we do. Especially in the subcontractor, because if they hire a subcontractor and we don't pay, and they don't pay them, that subcontractor could come after us.
100%.
Yeah, but if they sign a waiver on that or a release, that would say, hey, Mr. Subcontractor, you go back to AWR, you can't come back to us.
So do we have any idea other contractors that may have not gotten paid, that would have got paid?
There was an issue with Pat Ross on 2 of them, and his work
there was no data that, they were claiming that George did not pay them.
But when George submits his invoices, will we verify them? Like,
No, they were going to Rich. They were going to Rich. Yeah.
It looks like, Earl, to answer your question, from just glancing at this, it looks like it has dates of January and February items in here. So again, as they're saying, we're gonna have to. Oh, you said how many, the length of time is the 39,000 covered. The period of
oh,
time.
the invoices for AWR.
Yeah, for AWR, the money that we paid in the cashier's check.
Yeah, that was for end of December, through January, and part of February.
Yeah.
Yep.
These were also paid at the same time. AWR said these were items that were done that they asked us to pay. They were our responsibility.
Yes.
The work was done
Yeah.
for Windermere Oaks.
Yeah, and I verified all the invoices that they sent us on the last check.
There's one,
that they gave
there's
us.
one for Corex for
Yep.
$685.56.
Yeah, I looked at all of them and I talked directly with Al and Tammy or Tammy. Was this work completed? And they went through a very detailed billing on it.
But we still
discussion.
don't know if actually George had anything to do with any part.
We don't know because George didn't submit it as detailed as what AWR does. AWR's invoices are very, very detailed.
Small correction. George produced zero.
Yeah, no,
clarification.
yeah.
Hey, Renee, was that Pat Ross or Pat Hoss?
Ross. He's the one who takes care of the barge maintenance for right now.
Okay, so there's 3 checks here. So I have a $849.75 to Aquatech.
Aquatech, yep.
I have a $2,099.09 to wastewater transportation services.
Yep.
Sludge.
That's for the sludge. That's for the effluent that comes out of our water plant that builds up. So you get all the muddy water from the thing. The sludge, and then they haul it off. No, not that sludge. Well, that's another one. The waste plant has sludge, but all the sediments that you see, and that's what the clarifier does. All those sediments drop to the bottom of the clarifier, and the clarifier has a big trough on it. And then you can go in there and clean the trough out. We don't have one of those. I'll check with that, but I don't think we have one of those according to George and according to those two. We do not have a true clarifier. We have a made up one. So that's a problem.
And then the third check is for $685.56 to Corex. So going forward, is AWR going to be paying these, or we're paying?
Yeah, going forward, since they subbed those out, they will be paying those.
So can I have a vote on the board that we ratify all the $39,000 in these 3 checks?
Yep.
A motion?
I so moved.
And I second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Okay, to get back on our agenda here. Approval of board minutes.
Hey, just one thing. I think one of the things that we're struggling with is I think we got to figure out where are our invoices going. Because right now, some go there, I'm pointing to the plant, some go to the P.O. box. And I think to help the treasurer out, I think we need to decide or provide some direction. Should they all go to the P.O. box, and that's where everything goes, because, and then who's going to go get them? Because right now, that's some of the reasons why we're behind on billings or payments, because they're in all different places, plus we're trying to catch up from the chaos of 45 days ago, 60 days ago. So
I know Judy said something to me earlier where we have a box over here.
yeah, that's what I meant to say.
We have a box over here. We also have the ad. Do we get anything at 424?
No, that's
where it goes.
that's where it goes. But we have a PO box.
Oh,
And the spice with
post
Post
office.
office. Yeah, we have a PO box. So I think we should provide some direction to send a notice out to all of our vendors. Either go to the PO box or go here.
I think it needs to go to one place. Does
Yeah.
anybody motion?
No, I'm not motion.
Is
I'm just
Lori
saying.
getting any at her house?
No.
Are things being emailed, invoices?
Some of them are. So we're taking care of it. I mean, I think Judy's taking care of that. But one of the things is we got addresses that have PO box, and we got addresses here.
What Lori did is she got the mail. George used to pick up the mail, and they handled it. She told me she has never done accounts payable. She did not pay George's stuff. He did it himself.
Yeah.
However, I know, Bowen did pay them. However, she she has been picking up the mail and scanning and sending them by email right now. We should not have this many. Once these get cleaned up, I think I have 11 checks that I need for people that have done work here, and I've called them to see if they've been paid. And that's very serious when people have worked and they're not being paid out here at Windermere. We'll have to clean it up, and when we go forward, we'll be in our own work and our own business.
Yeah.
And we'll know. Otherwise, we're going to have to go.
So I'm confused because I thought, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Renee did mention like Lori was using QuickBooks and paying from QuickBooks. And that's how payments were being done.
Sometimes. We have that ability on the online one. It could be done there, but Tim Norton and crew, they had access to the local copy of QuickBooks that we had. It was just on a regular computer in the office, no backup at all. Now we're online, so we've got perpetual backup on it. But what Tim Norton and crew, they were printing from QuickBooks blank checks. And then those blank checks, they were in fact, just like a bank would do, they were in fact typing those out. And so there were a number of places where checks which had been signed, which had been typed out for payment were left in copiers or overcopied and things like that. It was really crazy. So Lori was not using QuickBooks to generate them. We want to do that in the future. So the QuickBooks Online has direct link into our First Federal, and then everyone gets a record there on the statements at First United. And the fact that there was no consistent process was just heinous.
So what's our discussion for proposal? Do we want to send it to one place? That sounds like a thing to do. And what's the place?
My vote, my discussion would be a PO box. It's safe, like our bank statement goes to 424 Covington. I really prefer those go to a box, one place that will take time as we go. Each time we bill or we go back, it may take time, but I think it would be the way to go.
Yeah, it should take 1 second. You just tell our vendors, hey, if you don't send it to the PO box, you're not getting paid. Now, obviously, some are going to be more important than the others, like AWR, but they'll come out.
It'll take time.
So at the Spicewood.
Yes, Spicewood Airport.
Well, so
Or Spicewood Steel.
I would recommend though that we need to get it rekeyed because I know that.
We did. I did
get
for
on
that. And I had to submit expenses because we had no access to the cash, but I paid for those, all of them to be immediately rekeyed.
Is that the office too down there?
The rekeying of the office has not happened. There's been a collection of those keys, and we've seen those now. The important one was rekeying of the post office.
What about this box out here that takes payments?
That's what we're talking about doing away with.
No,
Because-
that takes payments.
Payment.
Yeah, payment.
Oh,
gets
payments,
paid.
I'm sorry. Yes,
Payments.
I'm sorry, Josie.
We're just talking about invoices.
Where we want our bills sent and our bank statement.
Yeah, have you ever seen when they deliver mail, they open up the whole panel at one time, so there's exposure for everybody that has mail sitting in there at that point. So is there a motion to move to a PO box in Spicewood?
Motion. We make exactly the primary and the original place for all the contracts.
For everything to go to one place? Yep, I agree.
Yep.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So Judy, will you take care of making that happen?
As we go, we'll start immediately. It's box 610, Spicewood. I had to learn that.
Okay.
Not as good.
No, she was talking to me back there.
You too.
Anyway, and then you can do the piece and as you pay the bills, you could just draft up a memo basically saying we have an address change, please make the address with the next bill.
And just a quick note, when I was calling today again about a bill, and I said something about Mr. Burris, they didn't know he was not associated with city work. So, I may have to, let people know if I speak with them that he is not. So there's no privileges, no.
In case somebody might call.
Mail, yeah, right.
Since we're talking about invoices, Should we go ahead and bring up where our invoices, item 15, up to the discussion we're having right now?
Sure.
Everybody in agreement on that?
I move that we adjust the agenda for the invoices now to get addressed since we're all on the same subject.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Judy, I asked you to do a spreadsheet.
Yep, I got these one page, I need a better thing. It's in. There's yours, it's in there.
At least the wind died.
I held on to these because it's so windy.
Yep.
These are, well, that's the minute.
It's in there.
That's her.
It's right, it's in the packet, like one, second document down, second
I
packet.
could have broken this up, it's so windy.
Thank you for clicking on.
Yeah.
Okay. If you will refer to the spreadsheet that Julie so kindly said, this will be a good way to organize. It shows bills that come that are ACH, they're automatically done. And that's been, it appears to be done a long time. As we go, I'll be researching those, like there's like 5 or 6 for Ferd Dallas Electric, that company. But one's for the lift station, one's for the grinder thing, and each bill does show the address. And so those are paid automatically. These are the ones that I don't have to pay manually.
And it would be nice going forward that you put in whatever the monthly amounts are next to the ACH.
Right.
Yep.
So you know what each of them are. So the ones that we need to look at as far as approving for the checks.
If I may, it's a small point. Look to the second page here. Okay, because we collaborated on this.
Okay. Oh,
The
you got that one up.
second line at the top says it's from the January 2024 statement.
Mhm.
The next page is from the February 2024 statement.
Okay.
And the one that was posted at the top is the one that will be closing for this month, but we only get that statement early in April. So your point is exactly right. So look to the one from January, and this is what you'll see in the future.
Yeah, you got
The one that's on page 2, right?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, the dates, the amounts, where they're coming from, and there are 3 zones, right? We talked about this. The ACHs are the ones that are automatically pushed, okay, are pulled. The next zone is zone 2. Those are ones that are individually paid by check. That's before the board has their meeting. That's the history of what those were. And then the zone 3, when everything gets smooth, that will be the zone where there are invoices that need discussion. That we discuss those in great detail so the board knows to get to. All of the zone 1 and the zone 2 items, the first zone 1, every one of those needs to have in our minutes the fact that we agree that it's right for these to be on automatic clearinghouse payments, okay? And that needs to be, that will be a small sub addition that we put on the minutes, which is great. Because up to now, that information and that record's never been discussed for any board or put in any minutes. So that's number 1. The next 2 are the ones, typically is what happens is when a budget is approved for repetitive items that, again, would happen from time to time, but not every month. Those are the ones that the treasurer is already pre-authorized based on the authorization from the board to make that payment. We're always keeping 2-party separation of duties, which is generally subject county approval. And the last zone is the ones that we really have to discuss in great detail.
I don't have anything in that spot right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. We're in the catch-up right now.
So which one do we catch
I
up
would
on?
like to make a recommendation to add AWR's monthly service items to the ACD.
11,000 number right there.
11,750. That's a fixed fee, we pay it all the time. That means we don't ever get them behind. Because that would be, I mean, there are they're out here every day, they're providing us the water, clean water.
Right, it's
So,
a contract.
let's keep them happy.
It's
Yeah.
set, but then if there is extra work.
Ex extra would go down to zone 2, zone 2 or zone 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's an excellent suggestion.
yeah, so I just say we put the ACH on there, and they're okay with it. I said, you guys mind if you pay it that way? They were like, fine. You know, so, yeah, exactly. They're getting their monthly stipend each time. That's fixed in the contract, and then anything above and beyond that, supplies, equipment, water breaks, those get billed individually on a detail bill. That would fall into zone 2.
Any motion on
Yep.
that one?
You so move.
I'll second. Okay, there you go. Great.
Any other discussion? All those in
Yeah,
favor?
good, Judy.
Actually, you can thank Renee. He set the sheet up, but I populated
Yeah,
it. I sat
nicely
there-
done.
I mean, he
I
had
think
the
this is the
grid.
first time we've ever had anything like this.
What was our long talk to Indy?
Yeah,
When I was on the phone
first
for a
time
long
we've ever
time.
had something like
Yeah,
this.
thank you, Julie, for that suggestion.
If anybody wants to see this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Fine.
Anybody want to pass it? I'll let you wait.
Wanna look at it?
If anybody wants to look at this, finally we know what we're spending money on.
And he set it up so
Thank you.
I can go each.
Yeah, thank you.
All you gotta do is drop it in.
We're all good.
So on this list, is there any that we need to approve so you can?
Yes,
take
Yeah.
all planned.
If you go to the one that's on the first page, yeah, these are the ones that we're discussing all of those. And it's part of its catch-up, but not a problem. These were by board authorization.
Right.
These are the ones by budget authorization. These are the ones that need authorization.
Okay, so these are all happening.
Yep. Yep.
Is there any?
Any questions?
We have to.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
We're talking about the ones at the bottom?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Here's what I'd like to do. Since I just got these, can we table it until the 19th, which is a week away,
Yes.
so I can look at them?
Okay, I have one thing. There is an LCRA.
There's a couple in there you said that needed.
That, the only thing is, and I would like to put LCRA on auto pay too, every month.
Great.
Yeah, if it's the
We
same.
need our water, that's our water draw.
Yep.
And we are right now 2 months, so January and February.
Well, it looks like December, you got one dated.
Yes,
29.
So,
Okay, I agree tabling it because I would like to evaluate the water management.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at
And
this.
forest management was paid almost $60,000 in January.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. We're with you.
Exactly. But you're right. So we'll move those to the 19th. But 2 of them need to be green for go right now.
Yeah, this is one of them. One of them's the LCRA, which is a standard fee.
Well, it looks like their fee varies. Did they hit us with the late fee?
we are being hit with late fees. I could not access, there's a user and password, which I don't have. So I was trying to find ways. They said I could pay my bill at HEB, but they only take debit, credit, or cash.
Or S&H green stamps.
Yes, I actually tried to find out. I spent time to, I know I can pay it. I don't have much cash. So we need to set it up. And we can send a check.
No.
But
Send a check to catch it up.
Yeah.
I vote to.
Yeah, let's play that one. I think we should vote to pay the LCRA.
Now, the point you're making, your question is really valid. On these ACHs, those values will move, okay? But the idea is that it's history, just like, for instance, the CoBank loan payment. It's moving by pennies,
Yeah, I was
one
gonna
month
say,
to
it's
the
not
other.
gonna move a whole lot once
That's
you
right.
set up an ACH.
And the other ones will move for the ACHs, but that's more work than needs to happen, because we know that those need to be paid. When we see it reported here, this is important for the board, when we see something that's strangely out of place, that's when we question it.
There's actually
Second to the motion to approve the LCRA to ACH.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
okay, I just have to get a hold because they always want me just to email.
Now, didn't you tell me the other one that needed paid was
Pat
this
Ross.
Pat Ross?
Yeah.
There are
I-
two.
Yeah, I verified the work that he did with the AWR team
And how often does he do this work?
as needed. This was about
see him.
cleaning out for the, yeah, he's pretty
I've seen
detailed.
this stuff
Yeah.
before.
It was about cleaning out the screens for the zebra mussels and the,
So it all depends on what it's needed for each center.
Yep,
And is there anybody with AWR that can do this work?
we're working on that. They have somebody in there trying to get them to do it. The ones, their guy is down a little farther down on the lake. The good thing about us, we have a boat, so they can dispatch. The problem is, you gotta take the boat from here, take it down to a marina.
It's gotta take it in and out.
Well, you can't, you gotta find a place that you can launch the boat in. That's the
Right.
problem with having a boat.
Danny from AWR asked us to please pay this
Yeah.
because this has to do, and if Pat Ross decides, if we get an emergency, we rely on him and his boat with a crane to get us out to the barge, otherwise we're sunk.
Yeah.
So I think we need to
Not
pay
the barge,
this.
but we are.
Wait, oh, that's terrible. So,
Yeah.
Well, I definitely agree we need to look at somebody else, and I know his charges are, I know with that on the
They,
deal.
AWR has used him in the past. They think he's reasonable, he's a little high, but they have another guy, and they're trying to rule him from down lake if he would drive all the way up here. The problem is our boat sits in our thing, and then where do you take the boat to launch?
Right,
Because he's got to work from a boat.
right. Okay, so we need a motion to get these two paid.
I make a motion, we pay the Pat Ross one and only the Pat Ross one. Second.
All those in favor?
the two Pat Ross.
The two Pat Ross.
So two Pat Ross. Okay, everything else can wait till the next meeting?
Yep.
One more comment, one more thing. Lori Cantrell was not paid January, and she just billed February. We have done a lot of work, and billing brings us money. So I kind of wondered, she's held out, I would have a difficult time going 2 months without payment. It's a small, it's your own business, so I'm a little worried about that one.
That point's good. I'll make a motion as well, that since we know Laura's work, that not be moved to the 19th, and we can look now.
Is there any
Yes, there's 2 of them, and her contract.
Yeah, if you want to move to something else, let's just take a look at this.
Take a look at that, okay. Is there anything else on the invoices, or besides that, we can go look at the minutes?
Those are the 3 zones I think that we.
Okay, well, let's look at the minutes. I have corrections for the minutes. Anybody else read through theirs? For the minutes of the annual board meeting?
You know what, and I can see errors later. This is my first go at the minutes. I will get better. I sent them out in the last couple of days and asked for any comments or corrections. Is there a way we can table this, we can do these on the 19th? Would that be soon enough? Because I'd rather.
Fine, there's corrections.
Yeah. Oh, corrections, she did.
Judy didn't know how to spell my last name, so I'm kind of a little picky.
That was to see if you read it.
That was to see if I read it, that right, Scott?
All right.
And I did put all the dates on there. There was dates that we did submit last second page. There were dates that we did do for the meetings.
Thank you for doing your due diligence. This is what I need because, you know, we do work together and I want them correct. They will be posted when we get finished, so
I'm in you here. All right, so we tabled, Judy, are you ready for the treasurer's report at all?
okay. Sure. So we're going to table the minutes till everyone gets a good chance to look at them.
And you can handle those corrections.
Okay. That was the minutes. Now the treasurer's report, which is that was part of this with the invoice, that was part of my treasurer's report. That's budget. What I have to say about the treasurer's report, this is my 12th business day since coming in office. When I came in, I didn't even know the account number. And we've got signatures, we're up and going with First United Bank. I will say, I look forward to a later time when we can get a different bank. It's been very, very difficult, and I'm not the only director that has struggled. We will talk about that later. But I can see, I can get online now, and you know, I can do online bill pay. As far as CoBank, that's on the back burner for now because we didn't need it immediately. I've spoken with them. I've got forms, we can add our directors to it, but right now, And I've been watching it. It can, you can see that it's in good shape. No one can make changes on it. It's just kind of riding for right now. Anything else?
Okay. We had 24 financials. Do you have anything for that? I'm just going by what's on here.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, we don't have anything for that one? The table?
Wait a second. Where did we go with Lori's thing?
Yeah, let's-
He was still looking at it.
Yeah, I looked at it, it's.
I would be confused by that initially. Like 2024 financials, do you want, is that?
I think that's just, I think that
month,
probably
year,
we're,
month?
maybe we were talking about the budget, like we all put part of this together.
That's exactly what it is.
So we
the
just
budget
need to
initial
cross
here-
that, yeah, because budget's the next
Okay,
one.
that's what we're talking about.
We need to cross that one off.
Well, no, it's fine, so
Well,
now I
we're gonna
understand.
consider it as number 8.
We're gonna be talking, yes, is that's the item about this
Yeah,
budget.
so I think, are we ready to backtrack to Lori?
Right, because I spoke with her, and she actually wanted me to see if I could write a check tonight and put it in the Dropbox. I will take care of it, but she did some special work for Renee and
So we owe her approximately it's like about $5,000.
there's the tape, and, well, she's done a lot of work. So,
There was a lot of cleanup that was involved in cleaning up the previous records on the eligible voters and making sure that we were doing that by the requirements, the 30 days before and the 2 days before. Yep.
What is that? Davis? Jeff, what did you write on here? You said Davis
Oh,
something?
yeah, that was to review their buy-in fees and all their billing for Elise Davis, who's hanging over there where they share a grinder pump.
Okay.
But I wanted to make sure that they paid their,
Yeah, she's looking up there.
yeah, I wanted to make sure that they paid their buy-in fees. Can I hear them there? Yes. They paid their buy-in fees.
So is there a motion?
Make a motion to-
Anybody want to see the budget?
All those in favor?
Copy of the budget?
Aye.
okay.
Now, anything else on the invoices we're done?
How do we contact
We're done with the invoices that you have to have done right now?
That would be the immediate.
Okay, now we're ready for the budget? Okay, we have consideration, discussion, and appropriate action pertaining to the 24 budget. Are they girls passing them out to the membership?
Anybody want a copy of the budget?
Everybody's out there? I do. Please, I'm just gonna, can I kind of, Jeff, you got yours in front of you?
Copy of the budget?
Has everybody got a copy out there? We're gonna go through kind of, if I can read it best, section by section. We had looked at standby fees. We were kind of wondering why that was an income, because that's not really, correct me if I statement.
Yeah, it's income.
You're absolutely right. The first discussion with Tim Norton across this table when I was the treasurer was that the chart of accounts that they've been using doesn't pass the requirements for the nonprofits, the 990s, tax filing. So how a firm can do that year after year after year, keep their accounting so it's a miss going into taxes is crazy. So your point is absolutely right, Patty. Says there must be some really deep work.
We actually should be doing a column where it's
Yes.
non-patron income,
Yes.
patron income, standby fees would be in the column,
Absolutely.
non-patron income,
You're right.
or non-member.
The fact that they've been mixed is a falsification of our statements, and as a nonprofit, that's dangerous.
Extremely.
Okay, so that's noted out here.
So, yeah, I mean, we just need to have a column. I mean, this is from our budget, but we need to keep that money separate from the income from the members. But it is. Nonetheless, that's income.
That's a good point. Would you like me to?
There needs to be a column, this is a column of member and non-member income.
Yep. Well, The columns is difficult, however, it should be segregated by the chart of accounts number. And we can make sure that we run that back into to Oscar so that we adjust this. You're exactly right. So it's the standby income needs to be kept segregated, both in what we expect for budget and for accruals. So that's, let me take that as an action item to fine tune this, because it should be a separate horizontal line that's clearly segregated and not combined with the other operating incomes.
Okay, coming down to the second, I'm just gonna go by sections. The second section says 375,000. Anybody have any discussion on that one?
Well, I was gonna ask you guys how you determine that, but I ran the numbers and my numbers came out very close to that.
Pretty close.
So I don't have any questions.
That was a complicated model to make.
Okay.
I'm sure for you too.
The next section is late charges, water and sewer. We've got 7,000 there. Any discussion on that one?
Well, I'm hoping that the income's not that high, because our rates are coming down. And I'm hoping that people are gonna be able to pay their rates on time, or their bills on time. I think that over the past couple of years, we've had so much revenue from late fees is because people were managing what bill to pay, and sometimes the water was a late paid bill, so.
I'm sure that's a factor. One of the things that people that are slow paying their big bills are also slow paying their little bills at times. So I think it's going to be a mixed case, but your point is well taken.
Well, back in 22, it was 5,000 even back there.
But that's a budget. See, the two columns.
Yeah,
22,
I see.
there's budget actual. 23, budget actual. And 24 is based on the history of what was budgets and the previous actuals.
Right, I see that. But I'm just saying, but to the point that Patty made about people should be able to pay their bills, maybe we need to bring that number down a little.
Well, what's interesting is in 22, the late charges were 9,000.
Mm-hmm.
23, they've gone to 7,100.
Right.
And so I just based on previous practices, that's where I just did the swag across.
Okay. Any other discussion on that one?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Membership fees, water and sewer. This one here shouldn't be in income, it should be in a reserve, because basically you can't touch that money.
I absolutely agree with you.
So we should have parentheses around that, because that's actually that's supposed to be.
It's a liability.
Yeah.
And so
They've done it
come and go.
Yeah, you're right. It's to combine it is absolutely wrong.
So membership, yeah. But I do have questions on how that was determined, that 6,000. How did, because I was just kind of crunching the numbers. I mean, I guess I'll get ahead. I was looking at membership fees, membership transfer fees, equity buy-in fees.
Yep.
And so I was looking at the numbers, trying to see, okay, how many people are tying in, how many people are buying a new home, how many people are transferring, like trying to make sense of all of that. And it just seemed like the numbers were a little off. Like,
But the equity buy-in fee, that one really should only be half, that should be 30,000.
So yeah, there's only one equity buy-in fee, and it's $4,600. So they charge that for water and sewer. I think this has a water equity buy-in fee for water and sewer separately, bringing in $60,000 in revenue when really it would be half of that.
That's a big mistake.
So that revenue should be 402.
That's a big mistake. That's a big mistake.
So it should be down to 30.
Yeah.
I guess
Are we going to discuss enhancing our buy-in fees?
Well, so I guess we can talk to that when we get to the compliance filings.
Yeah, we need to totally get on that.
Okay.
So yeah, okay,
So now we're down to water taps. Why do we have, I had a note here that equals 23 taps, that means new taps. What are we thinking where they can come from? Jeff, anybody can look at these numbers?
What do you say, 23 taps?
Well, I divided, currently a tap
Dan.
is $862.50. And that's per, if you get per water or per sewer. So I end up, when I had to take 20,000 and divide it by 862, I'm getting 23 taps.
Okay. What I'm looking at is the fact that in 23, the bookkeeping is postings
They did 21.
was 21,000. And yet in 22, the actuals were at 8,000.
8,000.
And the estimates for budget for 22 were higher than actuals. And in 23 they were less. So we see that there's a lot of variation in the back and forth. So that's the reason why I just did a swag at that point. Because it's hard to analytically be projecting something in the future.
Right, but I still think it's kind of high, because you don't even have any new builds even coming in, like, in the POA side at all, but you know something's going on in that
Okay.
airport.
What-
Ships up to
okay.
it.
Well, I'll
Based on
have
your
two
number.
going on.
In here or out there?
Doesn't matter.
In this year.
And that's your.
Yeah, in the next 6 months, in the
Okay.
next 3 months.
Okay, well, like I said, even if I take 23 and divide it in half,
So what number do you expect it should be?
Well, we have, so it comes out to 11.6 taps based on that. And then, so then you look at the equity buy. Anybody that's getting a tap, I'm assuming they're getting a tap because they're building.
Yeah.
It's a new tap it in.
Yeah.
But when you look at the equity buy-in fee and you look at what that's generating, what we have, that equity buy-in fee is crunching the numbers, it's like 6 new builds. So your equity buy-in fee and your tap fees are kind of off.
It should be the same.
And they should really match.
Yeah, we should, I think we should just set a target, and that's what we're hoping for. I think it's hard to predict how many are gonna be out there. I would
With
say.
Windermere, with Windermere, you can do it.
Sure. So how do you know? Because you don't know if they're gonna build, like I'm saying, I think it has to be a swag between, my best guess would be between 6 and 9 this year.
I would be comfortable with that.
Yeah, 6 is what we gotta decide which one it is to put in our budget.
Well, let's use a number of 8 for
I
both.
think the building is gonna be more
I know,
generated.
I'll guarantee you
the
2 right
airport.
now. Yeah, I'll guarantee you 2 right now.
6, 9, either or. But, I would adjust those numbers.
Yes.
Or 9.
Yeah. Yeah, if you start at 9, you're guaranteed 2, so you only got you got
Then
a
you've got
7.
something going on and,
You got 7 to make up.
alright, I'll go with that.
You sell some tabs, people. I just sold 2, for God's sake.
okay, I don't have any questions, unless, I've been kind of coming on down the sheet, unless somebody has questions, stop me. I didn't have a question until we did, cost of goods, is that cost of goods, cost of goods, removal, water and sewer?
Oh, wait a second,
Is there anything before that?
The regulatory fees, assessed fees,
Okay.
I mean, you guys know differently. But your regulatory fees are set at .005 by TCQ on what somebody is paying for their bill. And when their bills are coming down, that regulatory fee is going to drop as well. So you have to look at past regulatory fees for the past 2 years are not going to be consistent.
Yep.
With this year and the next
That's
year.
right, the pattern's broken.
You just have to, I mean, you can just do .005 times, well, what your water sales are. And then you can come up with that number, I guess.
Yep. It'll definitely be lower.
Okay, so keep moving.
All right, so coming on down, anybody got anything till we get down to towards the bottom?
No,
Okay.
everything looks good.
So everything down the bottom looks good?
Yeah.
Okay, going to page 2.
Okay, on the top, so this is.
Pages were stapled wrong.
In different
Oh.
words, no sweat.
So on this is our,
Yeah, the pages are stapled wrong, just so everybody know. Page 2 was on the front, page 1 was second,
Yeah.
so.
The page number at the bottom is
So it
I'm
says-
close too,
it's
Well, yeah.
creative, and you know, but I should use my own copy, so that's okay.
So wait, are we on page 2 that says page 2 at the bottom?
2
Yeah,
and 3.
page 2 of 3.
Yeah, okay. So at the top, this is the Ridge Harbor
Yes.
interconnect. So
Why do you
is
have
there
no
a
money?
reason, are we not connecting to them anymore?
No, we have a connection to it.
But it's budgeted for $0.
But she just got in talking about water being tanked, and it has on here,
Yeah,
the
that's-
water tank
yeah.
expense.
I'll be honest.
They are gonna bill us for that.
Yeah, they will be billing us for it.
The tanker.
But we're in a contract on this, we
Yeah.
signed a contract with
Yes.
them, so we have a monthly bill that we have to pay.
Okay.
So we should have some funds in there, we should budget for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the contract says,
I don't either. and-
but, I,
Absolutely right.
looking at it in the past, I saw that,
With the interconnect.
so we probably.
We'll find out.
That in the billing.
Okay, I will have that by the 19th.
I have a copy
Well-
of it somewhere.
I do too. I just don't know.
How about sooner so that I can run the numbers to scratch the budget?
God, you know, really? Slave
Yeah,
driver?
I know.
How about by Friday?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
What's wrong with thinking tomorrow?
Yeah. Okay, so moving down to the second one.
Keep moving down, man.
Yeah, lab fees, we've got, I think that's $8,000.
Well, I'd like to know why I have total COGS at 232,000. Where did the other COGS come from with that?
It's on page 1.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind. So we didn't.
Got that?
Yeah, so you're all good. How did we figure, can I go back to the cost of goods? Is this what we have? The COS? Is that our monthly fee? Or how did we budget that?
Which page are you on?
I'm on page 1, bottom, cost of goods. So,
Not LCR.
There isn't a total there.
no, I know there is. Well, there's 125,000. You got to budget it.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, tell us which one you're on.
They count
Okay.
5,000, so it's 50,000.
No, it's on 125. It's
It was
on page 1.
125 last year, they
Yeah.
did 115.
Yeah.
And the budget was 124.
But we should know what that kind of is. We could break that out. We know what AWR services are monthly. Our monthly service from them is $11,750. If you take that times 12, you already blew the budget without any additional services.
I crunched all those numbers, the operator costs and everything else that falls under that, and I was coming out with $275,000 for operations and all the repairs that they do.
But where are you at, Patty?
That's just going through and looking at
I know.
line items.
I know, but are you on a particular
Cost of
line?
goods.
Yeah, I was on that one that you were on,
Oh.
but I went through and looked at I looked at repairs.
Yeah.
I looked at cost of operator.
So you want to change, that's what I'm thinking.
No,
I
I'm
think
just
that's
saying,
low.
it's $275,000. I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, just our monthly fee with AWR is greater than 125. It's sitting at
I mean,
almost
your year
140.
annual.
Well, I'm just talking it monthly, it's 750, so if you take that times 12, you're at 130,000, you're
You're
at
already over the
120.
number.
Yep, yeah, and that's just on base operating. So something's not jiving here.
I think we just need to revisit that.
Okay, well,
The idea is that we're learning as we go.
No, I get it,
yeah, that's cool. So
That
it's
should be 11.
Renee, I'll send you what I think
That
they are.
number should be 11,750.
Maybe the accounting categories are not right. Like, what were they putting in that amount? We need to dissect
Yeah,
it.
yep, that's
What
what I
are they
mean, yeah.
sticking in there that maybe is not what that really is?
Yeah, I agree. That's why I came back to it and said, wait a minute, that's low. So Renee, can I get with you? I'll tell you what I think the operating is.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're done with cost of goods?
Yeah, on page 1, yeah.
Well, I'm on page 2. We've already talked about the top item.
Yeah. Well, that 232 number will definitely change.
Yeah, that's right.
Got it, okay.
Closer to the 275 that Patty's been working on.
Okay, so the next section is, reading any more, website? That says-
Yeah, website.
And so I'm even questioning why 500, what are we paying, do we have to pay something to have the
Yeah, that's
website?
right.
It's part of the ACHs.
Oh,
You gotta have
I
that.
didn't study every one of them yet.
Well, no, we're all learning. What do you say?
Okay, so then we got, something installed, new service
It's
tax.
the taps. Are we paying for the taps up front that are brand new and the insurance passing these costs on? Is that what that 15,000 represents?
Well, when I asked Hal and Tammy that a long time ago, they don't buy a meter until we tell them to buy a meter.
Okay,
We don't
so
find anything in the keep.
Yeah, we're not buying anything to store.
is
No.
this the cost they're passing on to us to do that work, or they installing?
No, we don't know, no, we don't have that because it's one of those variable costs, because they don't know if that meter is gonna be in the back of the house,
So where is
front of the
that
house.
15,000, and what is that 15,000? So,
Yeah, Renee, I think that.
Yeah, a swag across
Yeah,
the
let's,
street.
I'll work with Renee on that one. Got it.
All right, moving down. Let's see, I have a note on bookkeeping.
Hang on a second, what about bank charges? You
I
there?
didn't have,
That's
anybody have a
okay.
question?
I don't have anything, everything,
Okay,
that all is
bookkeeping.
fine.
Bookkeeping, what is this for? If we're paying Lori, we're paying Lori the amount we just paid, what is this additional amount for?
Well, we have actually a bookkeeper. Or
Is that
it's just accumulated
the
for
accountant?
right now.
Accountant?
Yeah, that'd be the accountant.
The MVP guys,
The MVP.
and their number is,
This doesn't look right for them, is that right?
We're only paying them 7,500 a year?
it's, right now, since it was a new contract, they set it up at 900 per month for the bookkeeping, that's across both. Yes.
Is that Renee? It doesn't matter water or sewer?
Yeah, that is for both, and so typically it's 50/50. But based on the volume when the dust settles, they said that we've already been given a verbal to us that we can look at that price, and perhaps it goes down.
It says on here, we estimate that our fees for this bookkeeping services will be 900 per month.
As I said.
That's what it says. I have the invoice.
No, that's, yeah, 900 a month, that's what you just
I
said.
have the invoice. I'm sorry, I was
So,
reading.
yeah, that's okay. So
It's
nine,
due
so we're
before
looking
it
at,
changed, so
so we're looking
9
at,
times 12.
yeah, 9 times 12, so we're looking at 10,800, just for bookkeeping.
What are we on, right?
But I would say a little more for the time being, because we got Lori. Now, keep in mind, one of the things that I would recommend to the board is to get away from billing and let AWR handle that. And they want to do it, it's in their contract, they want to take it over within 90 days.
They do?
Now they want to do it.
I thought they said like
Yeah,
18.
it says within the, no, the contract says within a year.
Yeah, no, they want to do it within 90 days. It'll take them 90 days, once we say go.
So I asked her about that, and she said, no, we don't want to do it for 18 months.
No, they're totally fine. Within 90 days.
She said it, and
Should have asked for
No,
I mean, she must
I've
do
already
that,
talked to her about it,
that's
absolutely,
That's awesome.
they need 3 months on the transition. There's software issues that need to be updated, because we use one billing system versus another.
900 times 12.
Yep.
That's what I understood.
Yep, yeah,
Okay,
yep.
that's what they want to do, great, but she made it seem like they don't want to do it
No.
during this rate appeal.
Okay, moving
No.
on.
Now, Patty, they do want to wait for the rate appeal to get in.
900.
So whenever that is, then they'll start to transition. So, but they know that they can take it over for us.
That's what.
Thank you for asking.
So-
A lot of corrections to do today.
So by the way, I would go back up to billing for accounting and billing services, even though we just came up with one number, I think we gotta pad that for a little while. Just put Lori on there, so I can go 16, 17.
Yep.
Something like that.
Which one are you on? Oh, the up there?
I'd be in accounting, I would take it down from 22 maybe to 17.
We gotta make sure that their practices on the chart accounts is in the future is what they were doing in the past.
Yeah.
We just get no assurance.
Okay, and then the billing, we had 26. We'll pass that, we got that discussed.
Well, I think that could change too, depending on how the year, we could leave it in there for right now, but that could change if AWR takes us over.
Okay.
So I would leave it as a budget item for right now.
Total contract services.
My assumption is that the billing services is precisely what Lori is doing.
Yeah, that's part of it.
But
For
I
right
thought
now.
you were talking about putting that into the bookkeeping.
Okay, yeah, we've still got a lot to get through, guys.
We have so many items.
Is anything else in here that we need to?
Yeah, no, Renee, I hear you. We're good. Yeah, we got it. Okay. That made sense.
And then we put dues and subscriptions, I have no, what are we paying for that?
That's for Texas Rural Water Association. I don't think we should have it anymore. That's my opinion.
Where you at? Which one?
The one that says,
Oh.
dues and subscriptions.
What are we doing about legal?
Oh, yeah, you skipped over that.
Well, first of all, you skipped over professional engineering. I don't know what it was.
Okay, professional engineering, you had 30,000, I just had a note why this amount.
Okay, so we need to figure out what we want to do there, because AWR will have their base fee, but then they're gonna have all the other things they do, like add pump, fix the barge, fix the water plant.
My assumption is when we're talking about contract, when we're talking about engineering, that was, the number I was thinking was, because that was the operational
Audit, well, then that's okay, then let's leave it in, because that's probably what Al told me, is that's what it's gonna come up to.
That's the problem.
Okay, if that's what it is, that will be the audit. If we could just make note of that.
Sure.
All right, now go down to the legal 160,000.
Help me understand that.
It's swag.
160,000 for legal.
Okay, so the latest invoice, on February 24th, $534,000.
Okay, so the rates that were designed through the rate appeal only allow for $3,000 in legal fees.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
we know.
3,000.
We know.
And any of those fees that are related to the rate case are not supposed to be collected through this at all.
Okay.
You can't.
We got it.
You can't put it in your budget.
Okay.
I mean, if it was general counsel, it might be a different story. But you can't. You just can't.
Well, we have to, regardless, we have to look at the invoice that they're gonna.
Yeah, but based on the expertise on this table, what number do we want to roll there? That's really elusive.
Have we looked at the invoices?
Sure, got it right here.
Well,
Invoices, not their statements.
so
Sure.
I'm here to, well, the rate design that was developed by PUC, which I guess we'll be approving, you know, not until there's a final order. And I'm just relaying what it's in there, is $3,000 only.
Yep, that's annual.
That's annual.
It's annual, you guys. I want everybody to make sure that's annual.
That's annual. And so, that budget, that these rates are going to be, the budget that they designed that mirror the rates don't have that, and we will be completely off with this 160.
Yep.
And in order to change it, to put general counsel in it, and of course it has to be known and measurable and all that kind of stuff, you would have to go through an additional rate appeal, because you would have to raise your rates to reflect a budget item that hasn't been factored in with the rate design. But I'll get to that when we go to the compliance budget.
So with that, what number? Yeah, it's an absolute unknown.
I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not saying, so I'm not, here, I am not saying let's blow it up for legal fees at all.
No,
But if you want to do things correctly, the way you do it is you put the $3,000 in there.
Okay.
At the end of the year, there's a deficit.
Yeah.
That's how you address it. You have to look at,
You have to show it.
you have to look at what is that for? Is it operational cost? But there are ways that you recover if your spending is more than what you budgeted. That's how utilities take care of it, because things happen. And so at the end of the year, if your income is less than what your expenses are, it allows for an assessment if needed to cover the cost of service.
Well, then how are we gonna, we still have the outstanding liability and we have to either make.
But don't put it on the budget, because it's not general counsel.
I would agree.
You can't put it on there, it's not general counsel.
But we have a legal expense, it's gotta go somewhere.
Okay, so, I mean, you guys decided, I'm gonna remove myself from this conversation.
Why remove yourself?
The
Well,
clarification.
based on your friend, you know?
Hey, guys.
Based on your friend, friend and his comments
Trying
about
to
me.
listen. Wait, Patty, the clarification is very important. I believe
Move up
then
closer.
that basically
Yeah,
the
move up
practices
closer,
that have been
Brian.
happening in the past.
You can hear better.
It'd
has
be nice
been
if
these
you could
things
take your
that
conversation.
I agree with
We're in
you,
a
Brian.
meeting here.
I agree with you.
Crazy.
And I appreciate
How do
why I
we
don't
get more
like anger. I'm the
resolution?
one that always waves, runs out and waves at you.
This is what we
Very
do.
cool.
Yeah.
You
Is
can
it-
always
I'm
go,
sorry.
you can always go back and amend the budget. If 4 months down the road that we see that we have to amend this, you just do it,
Sure.
have a meeting, and go to amend it.
That's what we did on the POA, we got to adjust something.
Just do that.
So wait, I got this. So what was the last?
She said 10,000.
Go ahead and.
A month?
I was gonna say.
No, it's a year. A year, just put a placeholder there, $10,000, and you guys, go back and.
I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely clueless at this.
No.
You have to wait until
No, wait a minute.
you have to wait till the PUC says,
No, they can't, no, they can't. It's two separate things, Julie.
I know, but
It's
it's
two
not to
separate
be
things.
talked about here. We
No,
can
it's,
talk about it.
PUC does not drive that. And PUC does not drive the $530,000 endorsement. That's a contract we have with Lloyd Gottlieb.
But they do drive the rates.
They do drive the rates, but they don't drive the payments that we gotta make.
Okay, well,
Contract that we have with
Yeah, this is where,
You can't, but you can't, let's talk about this. This might have to be on the 19th.
yeah, okay.
This is-
We should
Let's
table
do
that.
that. Let's do that. Let's
You-
gather our minutes and our notes. Okay.
Because you
Great
have
points, and we
you have a
really
contract
need
that's
some time to
$10,000
be able to digest it.
No, we don't.
Well,
We do not have a
All right,
contract.
let's
We have a
move on.
verbal.
We got a lot to cover, guys, and
Yeah, we're tabling.
I don't have any other questions on anything else with the budget, and it seems like we're gonna have to change a lot, so why don't we go ahead and table this until we present a budget that's been amended.
Based on your discussion with these graces, why don't I make adjustments based on the fact that this really needs to be a team thing?
Send an
And I'll just, I'll do adjustment to this, and I'll say, this is based on the discussion we had, here's what we're talking about. Because it basically, and the idea is that this is our R1, everything else is gonna be coming as R2, and as we revise it, we'll go to other revisions.
Okay, thanks.
right.
Renee, just one question on this. The actual on 2023, where'd you get that from? Was that just off their previous budget? This would be,
I know.
this would be page 3.
Bottom of page 3?
2 hours. What is that?
Yeah, that's coming from the profit and loss statements.
Okay,
The
that's all.
generated.
That's all I want.
Again, that's audited.
Done, just wanna make sure.
Okay,
But it's disgusting number.
Big discussion,
all
okay.
right, you guys can discuss later.
No, a disgusting number.
Oh, discuss.
Yeah, disgusting.
Discussing,
Where you might live.
disgusted with the number.
Very disgusting. Consideration, discussion, and appropriate action pertaining to fire hydrant on Coventry. I want to read this paragraph before everybody makes their decision.
What are you reading?
This is out of the bylaws.
No, the tariff.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's a tariff, I apologize. Tariff, section B, it's on page 6. Paragraph 5. This is printed right off of it.
Go ahead, keep going.
You got the whole tariff?
I thought I
I'm
wrote.
gonna skip the first line, just a little change. It says, all hydrants or flush valves are for the operation and maintenance of the system and may be used by authorized fire departments in accordance with the contract with the corporation to supply water for use in fire suppression. The corporation reserves the right to remove any fire hydrant due to improper use or deterrent to the system as determined by the corporation at any time without notice, refund, or compensation to the contributors unless such fire hydrants are installed pursuant to the terms of a non-standard service contract as provided for in section F, in which event the terms and conditions of the contract shall apply. And we had, just so everybody knows, according to the director's report that we get, I guess Lori puts this together, right, the director's report that we get. Okay, it says the water used for fire and flushing line. In the month of February, it was 500,000 gallons. In the month of January, it was 600,000 gallons.
A million
Yes,
one.
and then it says December, November, October, September, August, and July, 0.
Correct. Now, how much validity do you put on huge numbers like that?
Yeah.
when they're all rounded off to that number.
Okay,
But
so-
is there a meter out there?
No, also, hang on.
It's a
Renee,
swag.
That does not just include that out there. That includes all the red ones that are around the neighborhood.
Yeah, like they flushed the
That one
tile
doesn't
down
work,
by me.
that one doesn't work at Winterhold.
No, I'm talking about all the little red and the green ones
The
sticking
little
up
red
where they
tall
flush
ones,
those.
'cause I had a
They
pile of
flush
them.
those.
How many of them are working?
Sometimes they go flush them because they have it down. The reason why they flush them is when they do a maintenance on that particular section, they'll flush that line.
Michelle, how many times last month did we have not water on our side of the subdivision? I think like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Three. Yeah,
Yeah, so
3.
they had to go flush.
And they
it.
were-
Yeah, and they were
I
flushing.
wish they'd turn the lock and put the cap on so they don't leak.
No, those are for venting. See, what happens is they vent it afterwards. You gotta vent the system inside of it to vent it.
So
It's a screwed up way that they have it. They're trying to figure it out how to, AWR is gonna come
So I
back.
have this question. The meter that controls down there at the fire hydrant. So whatever puts that. Okay, he likes it. Okay, so we don't have a meter at the fire hydrant. The
Nope.
meter basically is sitting over at Madigan, what is his last name?
No,
Property?
so according to Lori, Madigan has not paid any buy-in fees.
Right, we found that on an invoice.
Yeah, no buy-in fees have been paid, which means that he might not be getting water, we don't know. I like Danny's idea.
He's paying a bill.
Yeah, but
She saw the invoice that
She-
shows.
She sent it, he's being charged every month for
Yeah.
water.
and he didn't do a buy-in fee because I asked her.
Nice.
So that needs to be
Nice.
rectified. Now, I like Danny's idea of shut the damn thing off and see who comes running.
I agree.
I wanted to cap it.
Well, that's not capping it.
The contract reads we didn't even put it in the right place. The contract reads it's supposed to be on his property, it's supposed to be where it is.
We benefit from it. So, I mean, that's what they put in.
Well, it's not in the gate, so anybody can go out there and tap into it, and we have no way of.
Well, they can't, what do you mean? What do you mean it's laptop? What do you want, do you want to pay for an expensive
There's a
full
lock
meter
on
out?
it?
Is that what we want
There's
to
a lock
do?
on it? I thought they broke the locks off.
No, they put new ones on. They got the keys in the
AWR
office
broke the
now.
locks off, and then you gave them another set of keys.
No, they went out and bought new locks, yeah.
Oh, they bought-
They didn't call me, I was on an airplane that morning and they should have called me. I was over
We
it.
had I guess a wastewater expert we have in our neighborhood, a gentleman that lives behind Jeanette. And he has commented at 2 meetings that if we put pressure on that from connecting to these lines that are old, and as we know from AWR's presentation, that's you're just asking for trouble. It's going to be a nightmare. And I think until we can really get a handle on what's going to happen, the possibilities, liability, whatever, we probably need to either paint that black, because when you paint it black, you can't use it. That's the TCQ rules. And so if we paint it black, that sends a message it's not to be used by anyone.
Well, it can't be used by anybody, it happens, it's locked up.
Doesn't matter, you want to paint it black anyways,
Well, we can do that.
even with the lock on it, you have to paint it black.
Okay, we can do
So
that.
I think that would be probably the safest
I mean, we should
route to
kind
take.
of, we should talk to the fire marshal just to be on the safe side, just to make sure he understands that.
Okay, I mean, it's a universal.
Yeah, I know.
Universal
No, I'm
language,
just saying to
like
let him
purple
know
fences.
that, let him know.
Fences mean do not enter.
I mean, he
What's that
knows
here?
that meter is there.
Yeah.
Now, we can take Danny's idea, which is a good one, and say,
But once again,
shut it down and see what
even
happens,
if
see
the
who
fire
comes
department
running.
use it, what would be possible?
Yeah, I was gonna-
Well, your idea was to shut it down and see who comes running.
Well, that's a cap,
I like
what
it.
you just said.
Here's the problem with that, is the shut off is in Dan Martin's yard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's the
So no
shut?
one would come running except to her front door.
No, we just let AWR, we just tell AWR to go turn it off.
So
We just tell AWR to go shut it down and see who comes running.
we're hooked to that another water system, correct?
No, this is the,
Sure.
that's just a temporary to get water to and from off of storage tanks. That's all. That's the interconnect to Ridge Harbor.
Where's that hooked up?
It's over here, Laura. It's
over there.
It's over there. It's not even close. It doesn't even
Okay,
come.
are we where we can decide on something here?
I would say if you guys want to, bootstrap Manigan, but like said, if he's been paying water bills and we shut him off.
You've been paying like with pretty much
Well,
the
if
one
he
numbers
hasn't
I
paid,
saw like
if he hasn't paid
150.
equity fund buy-in fees, that's a huge issue.
Yeah, that is. And what she's been.
And our tariff states,
I know,
if you
yeah.
haven't paid all your fees, you
Yep.
have to turn off the water.
Yeah, I agree.
We have the authority to turn
Yep,
off tariff,
I
to turn off
agree.
water.
But according to Lori, she did not have anything on Manigan paying his buy-in fees. And I asked her a couple last week or a week ago.
But does that mean that?
That's not
What
good.
about the meter fee? I mean, the only thing I
No,
saw.
nothing. There's no membership fee or no buy-in fees. That, according to her. Now,
And she was the one we asked.
Well, all
to
those
hold.
answers are due tomorrow,
yeah.
but we'll get to that one.
So was the buy-in fee actually asked of him?
Yes, it's supposed to be, because that's a residence. If you got a lot, you divide the fee, and what should have happened, he should have bought 4 of them.
Yeah, but we
Should have
don't
been
know
about 4
for sure that he was asked to pay it.
Yeah, we don't know if he was asked to
All
pay.
right, so, can you get with the
Got
fire
it.
department and say, would it be okay if we clean it
Yeah,
flat?
I'll ask him on that, and I'll give the word again, and ask if Matt again, if we're at that address, she knew exactly what I was talking about, and I'll copy the rest. I'll copy Judy on it, so she's in charge of buildings. and see
All
what's
right.
that. Got it.
Okay.
Vote on that one?
Yeah.
I make a motion that, yep, contact.
Contact the fire department so we can paint it black. Second motion, all those in favor?
Well, yeah, that we can, but let's see what they say.
I said if we can.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think I moved too fast. The docket 50788.
Not gonna talk about it.
Are we tabling?
There's somebody in the room that I should, I'm not going to.
No, oh, that's when we have no final order, I'll just say that much. Let's see, docket, I'm gonna read all this. PUC compliance docket 55454.
Yep. That's when Jody said, I am.
I did a quick spreadsheet on that.
Yes.
I'll go through it really, really quick for you guys, so bear with me.
Hopefully you can put it in line.
Hey, Patty, why don't we just table this till the 19th?
No, because there's stuff we need to know.
Sure.
It's very important.
Bring it in. But we don't have anything to do on the compliance file.
Yeah, it's gonna affect.
Yeah. Bring it in.
It's gonna affect something else down at the end of the list.
So these are there are 12 things that came from that compliance filing. I'm gonna skip through all of it, because those are the most important ones. And that is, if you're on the right page.
Within 90 days.
Yeah, so you have, we're gonna have to, by June 1st, we're gonna have to file a whole bunch of financial reports with the PUC. That's June 1st. It's a lot of work. You have to file the standard report that they use for IOUs. June 7th, but then you have to file an updated member list. That's due June 7th. And there's a lot of work to get that member list updated, because renters are now going to be considered members. You also have to institute a records management system. So you have to have procedures in place, including your retention policy, specific email accounts, and documentation maintenance policy that can be done in 90 days, which is due June 7th. So that means this needs to get rocking right now.
Can you send us all that?
Yeah. You also have to have, by June 7th, you have to file results of a financial audit for the most recent completed fiscal year. So you have to take into consideration that's due June 7th to the PUC. What do you have to get going right now to get that audit done? You have to get the financial. September 7th, that's when updating tariff. Any changes to the tariff that we've done because of all this have to be filed by September 7th. We also have to file an affidavit on that same day of service provisions only to another tariff thing. I won't go over all that. But the revised bylaws are due September 7th. They need to be filed October 7th, 30 days afterwards. The big thing that you need to know is effective immediately. You have to reevaluate your member list, and you have to look at anybody that's taking water service has to be a member. So anyone that's a renter out here has to take service. Because the way that the Texas Water Code is defined as a water supply corporation and as a member, is anyone that takes service, who takes water and pays for it, is considered a member. And if somebody's taking water service and they're not a member and they don't get to vote, we're not operating as a WSC. So that's what came out of the compliance filing. And so therefore, that's what we have to do. We have to now reach out to all the members and say, if you have a tenant, that tenant is supposed to become a renter. If the landlord or if the renter does not want to do that, because they're going to have to pay that $408, $402, which maybe you can spread it out every month. I don't know. That's to talk about down the road. Then the owner has to take that membership, and the owner has to pay that water bill. The renter can't pay it.
Well, another thought is the owner could actually pass, he already paid the 400 to it to be passed to the renter.
It basically could be either or. Either the renter's paying it or
But they can't pass on, to the renter each month the bill as it fluctuates. It's different from month to month because I was told by PUC then that landlord is becoming a utility.
Correct.
And that is against the law.
Correct.
So I'm sure you're familiar with this. You had a tenant toilet. So it has to be the same amount if they fix it into their rent.
Yeah.
And so we're supposed to be starting that immediately. But the more important thing is 60 days before any election, whether a director election or a bylaw change, we are required to send to PUC our member list, our voting roster, and our vote. We have to tell them how we came up with that voting roster. Did we do, our checks and balances, dot our I's, cross our T's?
That's all of our election procedures.
No, it's not.
Well, the member list is part of it.
No, it's not. I'm saying that we have to go in, anybody that's taking water service or sharing water service, they all have to be members. This is in the final order. 12, 13 items that the commission approved.
We don't even know who all the renters are.
But as I was going to say, the way that I handled this in the past is that the owner pays the electrical, the water bill, and the fluctuation is absorbed by the owner, and then it's the rent, and then that's straight. That's the simplest. And you raise the rent to make sure that handles the fluctuation. Yeah, and because if I'm changing the rent on a month-to-month basis because of the water usage, I'm a utility.
You can teach all the landlords out there how to do that.
Yeah. Good boss.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of simple.
It's kind of simple.
It's not.
How do we
do it that way.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, but how do we force that landlord to do that?
But no, believe it or not, it's just,
I mean, that's forcing the landlord to do.
But the landlord can say the member's going to be, that they could say as part of your rental agreement, you must become a member. Here's the thing, guys, to understand, and this will make it very easy. PEC, if you rent a house and you take electric, it's the same thing. PEC says you gotta pay a membership.
That's fair.
But you don't pay $480 to get electricity.
No, you don't buy and fee like we have.
Well, you might have to pay a deposit.
And you can't just change your lease.
Or a membership fee.
If you have a written lease, this comes up. If I have a lease and someone told me that, I was going, hey, my lease is to this date. You have to wait until that goes past. You can't just change.
Well, they have their option, either that it stays with the owner of the property or the renter. So they're not cornered. That is what came out of this compliance filing. Because Texas Water Code 13.002, 11, and 12, or 24 defined, and it says in order to be a member, if you take service, you are a member. And we are having people take water service that are members.
So, Renee, you do a lot with tennis village. What do you think of this? Just, I know I'm putting you on the spot.
no, as people on the board, with this coming down, this clarification, and we're not going to apologize for learning, okay? The idea is that if property is being used as a rental with a tenant, okay, there are two ways to do it. And then The two
It's
ways.
not really
I just
that
said-
difficult.
And but the idea is we can require the member who is typically the owner, or in some cases going to be the owner, we can require them to clarify and respond.
Or if they want to, they can transfer their membership to the renter.
That's correct.
And it's a temporary membership transfer.
Right.
And when they leave, they transfer it back to the owner.
That's correct.
Do we have fees for that? We should.
If we don't, we can't do anything
I know,
because
no,
we have to go through rates.
I know, we'll have to go, but we can put that in the tariff though.
Well,
But
it's
you
in there.
can't,
It's a transfer.
any late fee, any equity buying fee, tap fee, sewer fee, water fee cannot be changed without going to the PUC.
No, that's what I'm saying, but you had in there in September, we could put that as a new item, or you had it right there that any tariff changes.
Well, actually, look at the.
You said something in September that there's tariff changes, that's not that far away, we could put those transfer fees.
No, that tariff changes minor changes, it's just minor,
Oh.
it's language, rates are rates. But I would recommend everybody look at the tariff to see, because there's a whole bunch of different fees in there.
Yeah.
And there may be something in there that you could say, well, that's a transfer fee.
Yeah, it's a
or
transfer fee.
that we already have.
Yeah.
4025.
So if we already have a transfer fee in there,
Yep.
then we already have a fee for it.
Isn't that page 111?
Yes.
Yeah,
So we're good.
yeah, so we got,
But
Okay.
we need to get going on
Yeah.
this. This is stuff, I mean, this is.
well, this will be
government-
something we're gonna have to put a publication out to everyone on it, so they know, because landlords are gonna be, you know.
They're not gonna understand, you're gonna have to explain it.
Yeah, that's what I mean, we're gonna have to come up with a document, and it shows right there in the tariff that there is a transfer fee. If you wanna transfer it, you know, that's one fee to your tenant, but then if the tenant leaves, you gotta transfer it back to the owner, that's another fee, by the way.
Well, and you need to put the form in there that gives them the choice if they say this is
Yeah.
what it's gotta be, something
Okay.
active.
So, with that being said, I don't know if we set up a committee for this, I don't know what, but it's a lot of work to do this.
But,
You're
well,
we're gonna have to audit the member list, and it's gonna take some time, and we probably need to start ASAP. And I know I'm getting ahead, but Renee, I know you have on this agenda a bylaw date of May 18th, and that's not gonna happen because next week, 60 days before that, you have to submit, and 60 days before that is next Wednesday. So,
You're right, it's very, very aggressive doing that for the May. This is not an election, and so then the elements that.
But it doesn't matter.
That's the law thing, so,
The actual September the 7th.
yeah, I'm just trying to say that you gotta be mindful because next Wednesday, we have to submit PUC, that's the deadline that we plan on having on May 18th.
Yes.
That renters are members and who they are, we need their name. And that's what's in the compliance filing. It has to be done by Wednesday.
Is it triggered by a date of an order, or is it
Triggered by
Yeah,
their order.
it's triggered.
It was triggered by their order. Their order is 60 days ahead of time.
Their order came out last week at the PC when we were there last week.
It
and
was
it's
last
just
Thursday.
Final order, and it said from this final order.
I missed that. That's
I
okay.
mean, there's
Yeah. No, I mean, there's
a
a
lot.
laundry list of requirements.
This compliance order is handcuffing this water system because you can't raise your rates, like I said, nothing without going through, not a rate appeal, but it's a rate request, or I forget what they call it. And that takes anywhere from 6 to 12 months, maybe longer.
We can't do anything.
So your equity buying fees, to talk on, I know someone said about equity buying fees, we are stuck with $4,600 for the next 6 to 12 months. Based on my math, it should be probably $7,500.
Based on my mind was 10.5.
Um,
I went 10.5. I went, let's just hit it.
well, it's 6,000 based on actual numbers. I didn't have actual numbers for 2023.
Yeah, but what are you basing your formula on?
There's a formula on an equity buying fee. You have to look at what your depreciation is. You have to look at your income.
Where are you getting that from?
I've searched and I haven't found it.
Yeah, I haven't found it either.
being in the industry, working in the industry.
Why do we have to follow that industry instead of just setting our own? Can get it. Yeah, I mean, according to AWR, how they work with their water companies, they just set it. They just go.
No, that's not, it's.
There's no reason, there's no justification like we have to justify our 10.5. I'm just saying, my number of 10.5
Okay,
is what it is.
so what's gonna happen? I'll go with you on this. What's gonna happen is the builder's gonna come along and say, I'm not paying $50,000 to tap into your system. That's crazy. And you can file what they call a cost of service. And so when they go to PUC and they file a cost of service, PUC is gonna say, tell us how you got this $50,000. How did you get these numbers? Break it down for me. How did you get this tap fee of $5,000? How did you get this this equity buying fee of $27,000? So is your answer gonna be, I just pulled it out of thin air? You can't do that.
No, we can justify it.
How? You have to have.
We can justify it by, what I've read is we can justify, maybe we should table this till the 19th. Yeah, let's just table it.
Go ahead and look this,
Yeah.
American Water Works.
Yeah.
American Water Works has it.
Yeah.
Just Google it.
Okay, so we basically just discussed that one. So the next one is the docket 55840, which is the application of Windermere Oaks Water Supply Corporation to amend its certificate of convenience and necessity in Burnett County. This one here, that's the one we sent to the attorney. Is the attorney handling this one?
No.
No? Okay. Oh, I had a note about Joe.
Is that who it is?
That's the CCN application.
Yeah, that's the CCN application.
And it's due tomorrow. Are you gonna do the RFI? I put it out there, no one's giving me answers, so.
Well, when you and I talked, you said you were gonna go for an extension.
I already
We did
did.
an extension.
The extension is due tomorrow. They gave us an extension to tomorrow.
Yeah, she did it for me while I was out of state.
Won't that kill it? Won't they say it's not approved? You haven't done all your work?
Will they say it?
No, they'll just.
They won't say it's approved, they'll kick it out and.
They'll just give us a hand slap, that's all.
No, they won't, if you don't submit all of it, it's kind of like they don't approve it, it's just kind of like, well,
Yeah,
we're not going anywhere with this docket's being closed, that's what they'll say.
Right.
So what that means now is we have someone that's getting water service that's not in our service area, and that's a biggie.
Close the valve.
You can't do that, because he can come back and sue us.
No, he can't. No, he can't. He hasn't paid his equity buying fee. He hasn't paid his membership fee.
But
Our tariff.
I get that, Patty, but he's gonna, think about it, if you're getting water service now, and you shut the guy off, he's gonna go back and he's gonna sue us, we're gonna have to defend it, and it's gonna go.
We have an agreement that he signed.
I know, but I'm just saying that logically, he's gonna go sue us, and we're gonna have to pay to defend that.
You know something that we don't know? He's gonna sue us.
That's the way it
Shouldn't you certify a letter? It's not good.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm looking out for the members. I'm not looking out for this.
not looking out for that, I'm looking out for the members, because he'll end up suing us, we're gonna have to pay a legal fee. to
Well,
defend
good
it.
luck, because I have a signed contract.
well.
I have a signed contract that he says that he's paying all his fees. And until he pays his fees, I mean, if you don't pay your electric bill, they're shutting your electric off.
I get that, but we gotta send him a notice.
Yes, yes.
Certified letter.
Yeah, we gotta send him a notice,
Well, let's pay.
yeah, a demand letter.
A reminder.
I mean,
Reminder,
the
wrong.
whole thing was a cluster.
It's a clusterfuck. We know
None of
that.
it was done right. They didn't do an engineer study.
We know that.
I'm sorry, but the guys that put the lines in don't have any TCQ license.
Yes,
It was
which
just a
we
whole
know.
bunch of general contractors or
It was a
whatever
clusterfuck
helpers.
from the beginning, absolutely.
So
How many times did we stand up there with Joe Jimenez and they came out of that executive
that's
session?
what this CCN application is about, and
Yeah.
now they're wanting to get answers. They want to know what engineers put it in. They want to know, how about your facilities? What did he pay to upgrade your facilities? All of that information is due tomorrow.
And nobody knows.
Yep, so nobody knows. So I say
No,
we just.
we don't know.
I mean, if you shut him down, what's he gonna do? I mean, I think what he'll do is,
I'm not saying shut him down right now. I'm just saying that we have answers due tomorrow.
Yeah.
At 3 o'clock deadline, eight responses to an RFI that,
What do you think they'd say if we just asked for another extension? Because here's the reason.
we'll go for it. I'm not doing it.
Okay, I'll try to put it together by tomorrow.
Okay, we're moving on.
But hang on a second, I think we need to resolve what we're gonna, so we should send them a certified letter to. We should double check with Lori.
Well, this is what I would suggest. Look at the
Hang on a second, we should double check with Lori to see if the buy-in fees and the membership fees.
She already said earlier that she did check that.
Yeah, but I said double check.
Well,
I asked her.
they're marketing that property. I pulled up the real estate listing, and they say they have water.
Yeah, they have water
service.
service, yeah.
And they're being billed, but, I mean, in my opinion, the best direction for this is simply get all those questions in the RFI and send them to him. And say, Mr. Madigan, can you please give us the answer to these, because obviously we don't have any records on this. Have him prove it up.
Wasn't he supposed to pay for all the infrastructure?
That's what we were told all along, yeah.
That's what I thought.
But we don't know who paid it because.
Well, they just sent him a letter saying, you need to do this or your water's gonna shut off.
We also need to find out, did he give us an easement? Did he turn over all the lines to us if that's required? If he put them in, it's required by our tariff, and what PUC is saying, that he had to deed that over to us. Do we have a deed for that?
Nope.
Probably not, you're right.
Yeah, probably not.
There's no way. There's no way in that.
Do you have a copy of the
Okay,
contract,
so,
Jeff?
what?
Do you have a copy of what, this application?
Yeah.
The
So
application for the
here's, let me,
Or his.
Julie, let me just, I'll call Madigan and say. we got-
No. We are not doing any calls. Everything is in writing.
Oh,
No.
okay. I'm gonna email him tomorrow and let him know that we got it. I can't do it all in an email, Patty. You're gonna have to call the guy and say, we're under a deadline.
No. He's not gonna have stuff, Jeff, by tomorrow.
I'm not saying he's gonna have, but this is what I need.
We cannot have this pick up a phone, good old boy type thing.
There is no good old boy. I never met the guy.
But everything is gonna be in an email. This is
But
legal.
I will
This is-
follow up
No.
with an email about the conversation.
No. Everything has to be in writing. This is with the PUC right now. Okay.
You could nail this.
You know,
to a
Patty, that's
floor.
your method, but we gotta do something to get him engaged, as Julie just said, to get all this information and say, this is what's gonna happen,
Yeah, by 3 o'clock tomorrow.
you know?
Okay.
Somebody needs to be following this.
I want everything in writing.
And then I follow up with an email to say, Mr. Madigan, this is what we discussed, A, B, C, and D.
That should come first.
No, you can't do that, because you don't know what we're discussing.
I'll tell you what, I'll do this. How about that?
You'll do what?
I'll send him an email.
Fine. You wanna send him an email? What happens if he doesn't respond?
Doesn't matter, you send them an email.
That is true.
Yeah, even more, yeah. He doesn't respond.
Put a
He doesn't
red note on
respond.
his
You
gate
file
saying
that.
the water will be turned off on this date if you don't pay.
Well, that's a whole nother issue.
He doesn't respond, we attach that to the filing in the PUC. We have tried our best.
That's a good idea.
This is what we are dealing with right now.
That's a good idea.
We've made every effort. Unfortunately,
And he's got other access to water.
he has wells at his property.
Exactly, he's got other access. So, he doesn't need
He's
us.
not in dire straits.
He does not need us.
Okay, we're done with that conversation.
Okay, so Patty will send Madigan an email. Is that what he decided?
Why don't you do it, 'cause you're the president.
That would be,
I'll craft it for you, Julie, and send it to him.
Have you got the email address?
I do. I've got it.
It's all over the PUC filing.
Okay, now we done with this?
we need to take any action on that, or is it just a done deal?
Well, we're just gonna, right now, we're doing a letter.
Okay.
And I guess I don't know who's doing the extension, if we're doing another extension.
Right now, it looks like Patty
try to get it
will.
done
Somebody
tomorrow.
can do it. Okay, the 14, item 14, I suggest tabling that, because I don't think there's any discussion at this point, because we're running so late in the evening. Any objection? No, okay. Item, where are we down to? 16, sandblasting. Can that be tabled or we need to do that tonight?
Let's talk about it real quick. Okay, so we paid the guy about $7 grand. That was for a startup fee and supplies. He's on hold. The contract was $38,000. I don't know if I'll get the 7 back, but I can ask him. I doubt if he's gonna send me the 7 back. Would you?
No.
Yeah. So we either take it as a loss, or we continue on with the project.
What does AWR say?
Yeah.
They were one of the engineers I talked to when I voted against it. I was like, go talk to these guys.
We're gonna have to cut our losses because we can't spend this money. We're throwing good money away at nothing.
I agree.
It sounds like they were very,
No, they were like, this is a stupid idea.
Exactly.
They're trying to make that a clarify. I talked to 2 engineers. I talked to Steve Kelman, who was on with AWR one day, and another one. And they said, what?
Well, I know you guys didn't vote for it.
But a small additional point, says by cutting our losses, certainly not spending more money. It says, based on the contract, if there's contract performance that hasn't been met for the funds, you can go to small claims court. We can do that, and it's very cheap, and he gets hit
What
for
do
it.
we get for what we paid?
Well, Garcia, nothing. I don't think he's bought any
We
supply.
got nothing for $7,000?
Yeah, that was the startup fee.
Absolutely nothing.
He supposedly went out and bought all the material, the sandblasting material and the coating material.
Well, great,
But I don't, but
he has to be able to deliver it to us.
Yeah, oh no, he'll have to give it to us, but it's gonna be worthless as an asset. I'll call him tomorrow and find out what he bought. I'll need invoices for the sub. And maybe he says, hey, pay me 4, I'll send you 3,500 back, whatever the number is. Maybe we might have to negotiate it, just to let everybody know.
So it's tabled basically, if you're gonna do that part of the table to the next.
Yeah, we don't need to vote on that.
Yeah, we can't
do it.
vote.
Yeah.
I don't think that requires a vote.
No. Let's see here, we did AWR. What about the NVD contracts? I'm looking at you, Renee.
Oh, get those,
I mean, I've got them here, but basically you signature
At
them.
the end of the agenda, everyone.
Huh?
We're close.
No.
Yeah, we're almost done. You signed them
That's
back on
correct.
January 18th, and you have signatures on them.
That's right. It's simple. It's just, if we're in agreement, that because they were urgent to do it, so it's ratification, we
The other CPA firm left. It's just remain on.
But it's important for us to get it in the minutes, the ratification of the.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I have a motion to it.
Second?
I have a motion, yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Which one is this?
So this is at the CPA firm. There's 2 parts.
I just want to,
Yes.
discussion,
Bring it.
open for discussion. I looked through their contracts, and I just want to make sure that y'all understand that they have something in there that says that by signing this to do like an audit, that you are attesting that that you're saying that all these financials that you are giving them are correct, and that they're doing this audit based on your word that these are true and correct financials. So I'm just putting that out there in
Yeah.
discussion, that's it.
That's all you
So
can do.
whoever signs that, just keep that in mind, that you're giving financials from other people that you're saying are correct.
sounds like a tax form.
That's a great catch. I mean, it's dangerous because the whole purpose of the audit is to determine whether the financials were determined properly.
It's almost as if you did a forensic.
Good data, good data in, good audit out, bad data in.
I mean, an audit
bad
is
audit
not,
out. But what are you
forensic
gonna
audit,
do?
you will actually look to see, and will give you more protection on that.
We want to spend money on financial.
See how much money they're going to charge for a forensic.
Okay.
But then they need all the records.
That's fine.
Do we have them?
Well, I've got so many in the PUC rated deal. I've got
Well, there you go.
financials.
That's good. Yeah.
They're all online for everyone to see.
We had a history of 3 years of
I've got-
collusion.
I
and
have 40
BS,
years of
right?
financials.
Yeah. But actual invoices?
No. Well, yeah, there's.
Some of them?
Yeah.
Not every single one of them, but
I want to
some of
say
them.
they gave us at least 25,000 pages of financials.
Yeah, but we're asking about invoices.
Absolutely.
I'm saying all of that.
Oh, all of that.
All of that.
Okay, so that was discussion on voting. We ratified it.
So the one that needs research, if I'm not mistaken now, Patty, is your point is the CP auditing based on that was this is the
CPA auditing.
Yeah,
Just look at look at the language in there. It's whoever signs it, it's saying
Yeah.
that I am turning over records that I am, just like your taxes.
You're attesting to,
taxes.
yep, you're attesting to
True,
the
correct
revenue.
numbers.
Okay, 19 is discuss potential, establish a local register agent. I suggest we table that one. Is that not voted on?
Nope. Table it.
Okay.
These will all come up on the 19th, correct?
Yeah, and the bylaws committee basically already discussed that.
the next time it comes up to it says the English, it is the registered agent.
Oh, it should be discuss potential
Corporate
establish a
registered
registered,
agent.
or not local, corporate
But local is not capitalized. Corporate is capitalized. It's the corporate registered agent.
Right. So now we're down to executive session.
Oh,
Are you ready? Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna make this, are we really there? Okay, Cal.
Yep, we're there.
Okay. I'm gonna make this easy for you guys because I know you guys want this. After a lot of thought, I've arrived at the not so difficult decision to step away from this board position. And I'm sure you guys are happy, the three of you guys are happy, because the recent events that, ongoing circumstances that have led me to this conclusion, I'd rather herd cats on a unicycle than remain on this board. Over the past 3 weeks, and even prior to that, I've observed some aspects of our operations and board behavior that are deeply concerning. While some may perceive our situation to be positive and smooth, and I know we had a really good board meeting, and Judy, you're doing a great job, the reality is quite different. There have been some issues that have persisted for years, and unfortunately, they're continuing. And I'm not going to go on and on and on, but we've got some major issues when it comes to Burnett County now is doing an investigation into us for PIA requests that weren't turned over. And Julie and I have been bombarded with PIA requests and locating documents. And we've received some really ugly emails from Jeff and Judy, like this is our water company, and it's just, in my opinion, was not appropriate and unprofessional. And
Nothing was ugly. You forged my name on an agenda.
Wow.
My name was on it.
Yeah,
I did not
that's
produce
kind
it.
of bullshit to
It
call
was
that.
not my work, ma'am. No.
Yeah,
Okay,
that-
whatever.
You can't.
You brought it out. I'm calling out
it's my
now.
time to speak, so let me speak.
Are we in
please.
executive session or not?
We're not in executive
Okay,
session, but
it's your time, but you're saying ugly. We
You
weren't
can
even
speak.
gonna talk about, but I did an agenda, filed it with Burnett County as per our bylaws. Then someone else wrote another agenda, put it on the website with my name at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without my permission,
And yeah,
not my work.
Are you done?
No, that's still ugly. You wanna talk about ugly?
Are you done?
No.
Well, keep on going.
I never got an apology. I got we do this in the office because it's a placeholder. No,
Okay.
this is not an office. It's a water utility. And my name was used without my permission. Now I'm done.
Okay, good. So let me speak to that. Renee, I'm sure your heart was in the right place, but the bylaws are incorrect. When it cites to posting in Burnett County, it cites to the wrong statute. It cites to Open Government 551.001, which is simply the definitions. It should be citing to 551.073, which is specific. So our bylaws, like most of our bylaws, are flawed.
But it's the bylaws we have.
Right.
Wait, can you let me speak?
No, I have one more thing.
Woo!
The agenda, yes, woo, you've had years to speak around here. The agenda, one person cannot produce an agenda. I asked the day after I took office for anybody that wants things on agenda, I asked again. And I took input,
I'll tell you
made
what,
the agenda. No
it's
one
a
asked
moot
mine.
point. It's a moot point, I'm quitting. But if you really want to know the truth, so you have a PIA request that's due tomorrow, tons of documents, it's not done. The sheriff is expecting that it's going to be turned over. and we don't have all the documents. And I'm not gonna be a party to that, not being able to get documents and turn them over. Whether you like the person or not, we're required to have full transparency. But that's not the best part, and I don't know where it is, but we just received today from the IRS, they're going to do a thorough audit on the WSC. And the questions are very deep. They want to see all of our finances. They want to see invoices. They want to know how much is member income, how much is not member income. Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seat, fasten your belt, because this ride is going to be bumpy when the IRS comes in to audit us. So I'm not going to be a part of Burnett County doing investigations, and Judy and I, while I'm not saying you guys didn't do work, but Julie and I have been running around trying to put all of this together and get it ready. Going out and meeting on the weekend, Frank Riley, to get all the election stuff. And all you guys throw accusations at us that we're not doing anything. That
Nobody said that, Patty. That's bullshit.
I'm sorry, but your email insinuated.
My email, well, it was, because what you did was wrong. I've got a copy of it.
I tell you what, everybody want to see what this guy is behind closed doors? This email is horrible. It was based on BS. And I'll tell you what, you guys can
What was the BS? Tell me what the BS was. Tell me what the BS.
Julie and I's playground. Julie and I's playground is this water system. It's my time to talk.
You accuse me of
It's
fraud.
my time to talk. When you sit here at
I didn't accuse her of fraud.
Yes, you did. Forgery and fraud. You sit here at meetings and my budget, my this, and you have the audacity to come and collect Julie, who's one of the most hardworking persons in this community. You're classless, you're rude, and you're foul. And I refuse to be on any board with you. Period. And your story, you brought your friend here tonight to harass
I didn't bring my friend here. I didn't even know he was coming.
Julie, do you have anything to say?
Yep, my termination's next. I basically turn it in as of tonight. I'm no longer on this board. I will not be on this board when I know that things are not being done according to the law. And on top of what Patty said, not only do we have an IRS, we now have an open records complaint that came from the AG today that's due from stuff that was never done back in the days of 23.
Don't look at me. I mean, I got an email from Rich Safer that says I satisfied mine.
Well,
don't look at me. You guys have got wrong. You guys got bad data.
The PIA request, we had two of them.
You'll be on the hook.
It's a mess.
We had two of them in a week.
Mess.
Two of them in a week. And then behind that, then I get another request that basically says it wasn't satisfied, one back in August and back in September that was the PIA. And again, where's all the documentation?
Rich has got it.
Well,
that's a Rich thing.
Good luck trying to get it from him.
I have copies of it.
Well,
that's Rich. He was the PIO
I'll tell you
officer.
what, you guys can deal with it because Burnett County's going to come knocking on your door.
Great.
They have an open investigation, so good luck.
I didn't come on the board. Yeah.
No, you
I
guys
didn't come
have
on
to
the
deal
board
with
to
it.
do what we're going through right now. This is my letter.
Good luck. Have fun.
It's
a mess.
I wanted to say
Good luck with the IRS.
Through the agenda items, number 20, the bylaw committee. And this was forwarded to me from Patty, actually, I'm sorry, Julie, whatever. And it says, no, this communication is not for deliberation. Attached are the credential committee's documents prepared as the procedure to be followed during the members' special meeting ratified and restate the WSC bylaws. Credential committee documents? I'm on the credential committee. These aren't my documents, the documents. Those are Renee's documents. Those are Renee's handcrafted bylaw documents. Don't put my name to this either. Y'all two want to go sit in a room and huddle up. The credentials committee is you, Judy, Julie, and me, and none of us have met to talk about this stuff. Okay? The three of us have not met. And I've been on the credential committee for quite some time anyway. We've never met, have we?
Nope.
So you saying these documents are credential committee, you were actually doing exactly what Geminis and them were doing. It's not cool.
It was out for discussion. We were
It's
trying
a
to
committee,
know what
not a board.
It was a committee. These aren't, the stuff.
not in your open
the
meetings
stuff
act at all.
it doesn't matter. The stuff that they presented wasn't ours. It's Renee.
Since the tape is still going, and there's some members here, last week, since you guys spoke and have resigned, last week, this person publish an agenda for the bylaws. Publish the agenda to Burnett County. The reason why this gentleman right here did that a long time ago, after he got Rich Schaefer to agree not to publish his agenda, was that puts a date and time stamp on the agenda. That means in an open meeting that nobody can come back and say it was never posted within the time frame. Brilliant idea. We did that as a bulletproof. He started doing that back, in the fall. That's what we encouraged our new secretary treasurer to do, Judy. Well, also in the bylaws it says gain what the other board members would like to have on the agenda. She nicely sent out an email to all 5 of us. 2 emails asking for input on the agenda. I responded back, Renee did, and it was a collaboration. Well, what took place was we submitted that. Judy published it at the Burnett County on Friday of last week for this meeting, well ahead of the 72 hours. Well ahead of it. That puts a date and time stamp on it so we can never get in an open meeting violation that we did not post for a meeting. Brilliant idea by him. She implemented it. It also, we put it at the water board. Just publishing in our water community, you know what that opens us up? To an open meeting violation, because the people at the airport don't have access to this community because it's gated. If you guys remember, 2 years ago, I fought Mr. Joe Jimenez about that election box. Says, I'm in the airport. I don't have access to this place. And he fought it. Where's the election box? No longer gone. You can't do that. That's an open meeting violation. So hang on. Yeah, I'm getting to my email. So Judy, on this agenda, they pulled it. They pulled the agenda and said, no, Julie writes the agenda. They put all their items in there. Notice every single one of their items they went through tonight and then they left.
Jeff,
they did not have any of my stuff in here or Renee's or any of the other board members.
Jeff, text and email from Julie for 2 items. I said, okay. I sat and rewrote the agenda. I called up Burnett County and I sent an email. So I resubmitted a replacement, and while that was in the queue, we had one that was done, and I told him, hey, I'm new, I got 2 more things I forgot, because 2 members never told me, even though it had been plenty of time. I submitted it, and in the meantime, I got an email that has an agenda by someone else with my name, like this, at the bottom of it.
Yep.
And I got concerned about having 2 agendas, so I called Burnett County, and they said, send an email. I had them both pulled. So we didn't have 2. This one was put at Wow's by Lori on our website. And then I saw that my name is on the bottom. I wanted that off. If anybody saw this posted, you would think that I was responsible for this. This is what I'm fussing about here.
That's the forgery.
I did not write this, and yes, I did look at legal counsel about this. This is not a placeholder. People would see this.
Yep.
So it got changed when I went, after I demanded it, my name be taken off, maybe before. Another was issued, and it says it complies with TOMA, and my name is off. So that's how easy it can be to keep changing things if it's not with Burnett County. I think that needs to be done, and if I post any more, which I hope I do in the 15th for our next meeting, it will be through Burnett County. That's the only way I want to do it. Sorry, Jeff.
Now, the reason I did what I did as a board member, that I talked about this. There you have 2 board members. You guys can record it, and I know you guys are friends and you're related. You had a board member who put her name on something. That not only, if that gets recorded around here in this neighborhood, any signatures that would be brought forth to the corporation for petitions is going to be in scrutiny. Because if it's as easy to put it onto an agenda, her name, it can be easily discretioned out there. That's a bad no-no. That's a bad no-no. You can laugh all you want there, Danny, but that's a bad no-no for the corporation. Did I send Patty and the rest of the board a scathing email? Absolutely. Because what they did is they wrote their own agenda for tonight. And that's the same thing we fought with Joe Jimenez and Rich Schaefer over the last 3 years. We never we've been on this board for almost a year, we very rarely got anything we wanted to be on our agendas. Because Rich wrote it up. It was Richard's water company. And you guys used to sit out in the audience and said, who's running this thing? Joe Jimenez, Rich Schaefer. We were trying to avoid that. Hence, Judy did the right thing, soliciting, because you guys tell me things. There was things that were the membership is communicating to me that you guys want to see on the agenda. That's why you ask for board input.
Well,
You
I
don't
think
ask
that
for
that's
not board
relevant
input.
at this point, Jeff. I think you guys better step up and play because the IRS is coming after you.
Great,
And so
I
is
got the
PUC.
same, I got the PUC.
Oh, you got it? Good.
No,
I'm glad you
I
got
got
it.
the same
Good,
notice. I didn't
good.
say that. Josie, make sure.
Nope,
I
you're good,
got
Jeff.
the
You
same
got
notice.
it. You got it.
I didn't, the whole board got the notice.
All right, so what I want to know is on your agenda, this is Judy's, correct?
That's it.
What's missing from this agenda to this one?
Oh, plenty of things.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, Scott.
Okay, and
Have you even looked at
the
it?
one that did,
There's one item missing.
the one that did not,
One item.
hold on, and I did another one to correct two things that were asked to be put in here. It doesn't have the post because I pulled it before they could do it.
But see, no, it's not. The AWR contract wasn't on there. The AWR contract wasn't on there.
Secretary Treasurer.
Where?
You went over it tonight.
No, we didn't. We did it as a special clause, by the way, Danny. It's not on there. That was huge. That was huge. By the way, AWR authorized payments. We didn't go through that. There was many things on here. Oh, God. It's, yeah, well, unbelievable.
The only agenda item missing off there, Brian, was them steering every member to your YouTube channel.
Excuse me.
The assistant treasurer, number 5.
Assistant treasurer, I asked specifically for that to agree to take this job. It's very big. I need a secretary, treasurer
It sounds to
assistant.
me like as y'all didn't want to put their agenda items on it.
No, we asked for them.
They asked for it twice.
We asked for it twice. We got emails to the effect.
There's 2
That's
emails.
not fair.
I asked on the
Go on, step over there,
24th,
Wes.
excuse me,
It's all yours.
25th. I have emails that I've
Barnstormers.
requested.
Barnstormers. Barnstormers. That land isn't getting sold to one of y'all's friends in the airport. And we have the text messages, Jeff.
What are we talking about now?
Barnstormers.
It's not Barnstormers.
Barnstormers. Can you say it?
Oh, God.
That land will be listed to the world.
Whatever, Danny.
Well, that's really
Have you
great.
guys moved to adjourn?
It's an advertising.
Let's just move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Barnstormers.
What's Barnstormers mean? I don't even know what it means.
Barnstormers is an advertising source.
Barnstormers.
What?
Miss Martin lists all her property. We're not doing this under the table shit again.
We're not.
I know we're not.
Absolutely not.
I know we're
There's
not.
2 people who've come to us.
I know we're not.
One came to me, one came to him.
Can you say it? Yeah, say it.
Hey, say it. Mark. The good thing about it, we have 2 people. Isn't that great? 2 people. One came to me, and one came to him. I know, one came to me. And one came to him. I don't know anything about it. That was one Gary Halverson.
Barnstormers.
Wanted to put his,
Barnstormers.
Barnstormers, Danny.
Barnstormers.
No friendship.
They advertise airplanes.
They sell land. Dana puts all her hand stuff.
Send it out.
You know why? She wants top dollar.
Because they sell airplanes and people are looking to fly.